Hello, everybody. Welcome, and thank you for joining us on the World Riichi Championship YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Thanks to everyone subscribing over the past year, we've finally hit the threshold to be able to get super chats and membership buttons on our channel. So you may notice that in a little chat there. That's something I've never actually seen before. I'm looking at it now. I'm like, ooh.
There's a join button, and a join button, and then there's a little. Mine shows up. Mine gives a little yen. It's a little yen picture that you can click on to do super chats.
Yeah, I think I see $1 on my end, which is very weird given from the UK. Why is it $1? Strange. But yes, thank you everybody for liking and subscribing. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. If you are, please continue to do that for us. I am Kyle, and today I'm joined by the wonderful Jenn, JPML Pro.
What's up?
Hey! But yeah, later on we have AOL A1 Leaguers Nathanael, Harrison, and Arthur joining in for the other games today. Our sponsor today is WRC, the most prestigious and international Mahjong tournament in the world, held once every 3 years. The next one coming up very soon in Tokyo in 2025, this year.
And people are qualifying, and it's coming up. I have not qualified yet. I have to try.
Oh yeah, I'm hearing stories about things happening all over the UK, all over the world. In fact, everyone's getting excited about it. It's great. But yeah, before we get started, there's a lot going on with WRC. We've had the World Riichi Online Team League, which has been continuing to go on, and as part of a team in that league, the World Riichi Commentary Team, myself, Tips and Tricks, who you may have seen yesterday, Nathanael, who you'll see later on today, and Corak, also, who you'll see later on today, have been taking part as our own little commentary team. It's a massive pro-amateur league with professionals from multiple pro leagues in Japan and players all over the world. I think us was at 280 something right now. We're doing pretty well as a team. I've played my 30 games and my score is a small negative right now, but the only way to go for me is up. I'll be playing again tomorrow.
That's important, man. So Harrison is on our team. It's Garth and myself and KY Kun, who is my husband, and we are almost last place, I think.
Oh, there's still time though. There's still time.
There is still time. I think KY said he had like 11 last places in a row, and that's never happened to him in his life. So he had a rough time, but
I think there was one phase a few years ago where I wasn't counting last place in a row, but I was counting not first. So I think I got to about 30, and I was like, oh, I played 30 matches and I've not got a single first.
Yeah, I definitely have been there before as well.
Fingers crossed. The only way to go is up from there, right? You can't get any lower than that. So, hopefully, nothing but good luck in the future. Good luck tomorrow.
Yes, we will be playing tomorrow morning for you guys, tonight for us over here in Japan. It's already 6 a.m. in the morning on Saturday, so.
I always forget how different the time zones are. But yeah, we have more great news. We have the 3rd European World Riichi League event, which just finished in Hamburg.
Yeah, that was the one yesterday I was talking about. I thought there was one happening, but it had just finished, actually. It was last weekend. So, yeah, that one just finished, and the 4th one is coming up in March, end of March, and it will be Cologne again. I think Cologne has been kind of the central location for most of them so far.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if everyone's enjoying it and it's worked as a good location, why change it, I suppose? Why not?
Yeah, they're used to it. They can work out, the things that need to be worked out and get, things going. And then there will be more locations announced soon, I believe.
That sounds great. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that same month, we're not just talking about Europe, we're talking about the US. The World Riichi League will be held simultaneously over 3 major Mahjong hub cities, taking part in New York, Chicago, and San Francisco, all at the same time. If you're interested in taking part in that, there are still spots open in Chicago and San Francisco, so check the description for a link to sign up. I'm actually really excited for that. Yeah. Should be good fun.
I don't think there's a link in the description right now. We can add it though.
Yes. Keep involved, keep in touch. Worst case, join the Discord. There should be a link in the Discord.
There's definitely a link to the Discord, and you can also just find the WRC or the World Reach website. There's I think it's searchable.
All right. But today we are here for the Yukan Fuji Cup Women's League. It is a league made of 64 teams who are split into 16 groups of 4. Each group will battle the other 3 teams in their group over 10 sessions, and the top team from each group and the top individual players will advance to 2 different final tournaments. Today we're going to be featuring the teams and players from Group 6 for the second time this season. Actually, that's a really good question. So we've seen a lot of groups for the second time. I just want to call out the fact that we have a WRC team, right? Will we be seeing a second appearance for the WRC?
Yeah, actually, we're the last broadcast of the regular season, so March. So it's going to be the true climax of the season.
Oh wow, no pressure.
The WRC team. Yeah, and as it stands right now, all the teams are really close. So hopefully it will be exciting.
Yeah, but so I know you play this week and the next 2 sessions as well, right?
Right.
So you have
exactly.
so we did finish a lot of games.
Yeah, Rika did play the 3 games this session. We did announce the results yesterday. I think we'll probably take a quick look again today for those who missed it. Mio will be playing next month, and then we'll each probably play a game or 2 on the final day.
It was really fun seeing everyone play the first time you were on the TV table, so I'm hoping that we'll see as good results as we did back then, because that was a really exciting day, I think.
It was, yeah.
Did you go from 3rd to first, I think? Or was it 3rd to 2nd? I can't remember. But yeah, I saw you climb up as a team. It was really great. But yeah, anyway, enough of that team.
Yeah.
How is Group 6 looking right now? Oh, sorry. I should. We have Team Bar Watch playing. We have Team Maze Bar, DD Studio, and Mahjong Nyao. We have seen these all before, but if we have a look and see who's representing each team, maybe we haven't seen these players. So, in the E seat, representing Team Bar Watch, we have Sara from RMU. In the South seat, representing Team Maze Bar, we have Misaki Sakayori from SPM. In the West seat, we'll be seeing from DD Studio, Tomoko Okada. And finally, but not leastly, in the North seat, representing Team Mahjong Nyao, we have Kamo from JPML. Kamo. Thank you. If I ever pronounce anything wrong, please do correct me.
Yeah, the vowels never change, so the A is always pronounced ah. Okay. It definitely looks like Kamo in English, but yeah, Kamo. It means duck.
Oh, okay.
Literally, it's the kanji for duck.
That's nice. I will do my best to remember that. But yeah, looking at Mai, though, she's currently in 68th place with a score of 31.2, so she gets a good result today. Could be in that individual final. But I suppose the only way to see how the teams are doing is to start the match.
Yeah, we had starting standings for the teams, I think.
Oh, okay. We could also switch those as well.
There we go. So we know kind of what everyone's goals are. It looks like DD Studio is going to have a really tough time because this is second to last, the penultimate session for this group. So only 6 games, including today's. We'll see if they can get a big score today. They might have a shot. They'll pretty much have to get 6th first place to get first place in the group, probably.
I think the other thing to keep in mind is there's always that individual final, right? So even if your team can't make it,
right?
The person representing DD Studio today is currently in 184th place, so a lot of work to do. But if she gets 3 wins in a row, you can easily get into that individual final. So everything to play for.
Also, so Maze Bar is in a really good position. They pretty much just have to not lose. Mahjong Bar Watch and Nyao Kannai, they both have actually a shot. They just have to basically put Maze Bar into last place and get a few first places to turn things around, because only 100 points is basically 2 first places.
Exactly, yeah. With the rules as they are, there's a huge bonus for first place. So, yeah, 3 firsts is enough, and obviously if you can get them in 4th, even better, right?
Right. So there's actually a shot. We'll see today if they will have a shot in the last session.
So yeah, if you're cheering for an underdog, I guess I have to cheer for those 2 teams.
Can't
But yes,
cheer
good
for
luck.
both of them at the same time, though. They
I
only
just want to.
take
I want to see everyone. I just
half
want to
the
see cool
score.
hands. I think at the end of the day, I just want to see cool hands. That's what I'm about.
Can see the studio. We always have 4 tables going on in the studio, and when all the teams play on the same day, there's actually a second venue for the other teams. And that's just a normal mahjong parlor.
Someone yesterday mentioned the gaming chairs during our broadcast with tips.
Yeah, only the broadcast table has the gaming chairs. The other tables have normal chairs.
I think that's fair. This is a very interesting start, though, for Sara here. Maybe not a huge amount of value with the 2 triplets there, but you never complain about a hand that close to Tenpai to start off with. We also have a very possible Itzy right here. But no,
Nope.
thrown away immediately. I think that's fair. Honestly, it's inefficient, and as excited as I am, having to draw 2 specific tiles to make that happen, just go for it.
Yeah, there are open-ended weights everywhere else, so she took the double gut shot, is what I call it. The Yankan shape with the 4, 6, 8.
Yes.
But now she'll push it into more of a Tanyao hand, inside hand.
I think that's honestly really reasonable. You have to be a bit of a dreamer to think, yeah, I can pick up the 5 and the 7 there. I can do that. That's going to happen.
Sometimes you do if you need the scores, but never in East 1, I would think.
I will say
Maybe
it's a
not
very
never,
interesting
but
situation here,
usually not.
though. If we're willing to keep the 6-8 as inefficient as it is, we have potential 6-7-8 mixture sequence available.
Yeah,
That's
that's
6
what she's
pin.
trying to decide here.
But efficiency, more important. I think that's honestly reasonable.
4, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shape is just too good to pass up. You really want to reach with that shape.
I think you're absolutely right. If we were in South 3, South 4, and you needed the points, absolutely go for other things. But there we go, as you say, immediately rewarded for keeping that shape. The reach stick comes out.
Beat Panyao Pinfu to start out with.
So stupid accounting.
Yeah, Sarah's hand started out good, but it just has not moved forward at all. Has not progressed.
Yeah, by my count, I do believe we have 4 tiles, I believe. 3 5s, 2 8s. And there's one of them. Not quite a Patsu, but not quite Uridora either, but still.
Be 1,300 and 2,600.
That does sound correct.
Unfortunately, you really want to get one Dora in there for the Mangan,
but I still wouldn't complain about getting that in East 1. I'd be very happy. There definitely is a me that would have been really obsessed with value over speed, and I probably wouldn't even have won that hand. So the fact that we managed to get that tempo that quickly, and then get the sumo, very impressive.
It's true that 6, 7, 8 was a bit tempting. The problem there is that not only was that shape in the dots really good, you also have an open-ended. You had an open-ended in the characters, and there was no guarantee to get the 8.
Yes, exactly. So I look at Sanshoku and I always see it, right? Especially when you mention it once, you see it everywhere after that point. The 7, so is probably going to be the pair in that hand, but what if 5, 6, 7 mixture sequence? What if? There's still plenty of time to draw the 6. Or is there?
There's a 1, 2, 3 on that side.
Yeah, exactly. That hand is amazing as well. Speaking of, okay, but we do have an early call here. I guess it makes sense as dealer that Sakayori would be willing to just try and convert. I think she had a 6-pin, one Adora, so at least it's more than just one hand. But the important thing, I suppose, is just to take that win and continue her dealership.
Yeah, now she's Tenpai waiting for the magical 3 bamboo, Sanzo.
See, that's the real question. Can we squish Sanzo on YouTube? I don't actually know if we have the technology for it. Software Tips is crying, but no.
Yeah. Jenn always always squishes the Sanzo on Tips' stream.
Yeah, looking at the
Oh,
tiles, I think we see 2 of the 3 So's. And actually, with Sara being Ishanten and holding all those Sanzos, it might be a bit tricky for us to see.
yeah, Kamo
somewhere.
has one here. And Sara has one there. Oh, another Dora. What do you do? And she'll get rid of Tempai to get more value and also probably a better weight.
Yeah, I like
At
that,
least, yeah, more efficient weight.
especially since we've called the dragon already, so we can open, right? If the opportunity
Yeah.
comes. And having that option, I think, is never a bad thing. Keeping the west as a once cut tile and a once cut tile that you're waiting on yourself, it's going to be very safe down the line. And when you are taking this sort of open route, it's good to have a backup strategy. It's good to have something like an escape rope to pull, I guess.
Yeah, if somebody reaches like right here.
Like right here. So 5/8 is the weight. It is just reach Dora, but you never know how sumo could happen.
There's a call. The 4 dot was in the reach player's discard, so Sara discarded it, and Sakayori she getting to Tempai again, and that
And
will be
that's
the
the weight
winning
you were talking
tile
about. Yeah.
at 5,800 points.
A very nice
That,
pickup as dealer and for the team in first place. I don't know how stressed I'd be about making sure I win at this point if I were them, but I'd be a little bit more relaxed, I think. With only 6 games left to go, the worst case scenario would be one massive loss. That would be my worst nightmare.
yeah, I think that you can. The main thing is that you can fold more often.
That is definitely true. Yeah, because you don't necessarily need first every game. You can take a second or two here and there, and it's absolutely yeah. I think the other thing
Right.
is, as long as the players in the teams in second or third are below you, you don't even need to worry about necessarily being first, as long as you are above the others.
Yeah. And even a last place would not be catastrophic at this point.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly true. But yeah, I was about to say, so Okada winning this isn't even a bad situation for Sakayori, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Definitely. Excuse me. Sakayori, originally from Ibaraki Prefecture, and also works as a poker dealer. A lot of crossover between Mahjong and poker in the past few years.
I think it's actually maybe not necessarily about the actual stats, but I think there's a lot of crossover in terms of sort of push pull in a lot of ways. I think, and
Oh
trying
yeah,
to sort
definitely
of
this. Yeah.
like track things like we talked about this before, but talking about like ranges of hands and things like that. When someone makes a call, sort of narrow down what they possibly could have based on not only the discards but their calls and things like that. I think it's interesting because sometimes you can tell when someone's bluffing. Sometimes you can tell when someone isn't bluffing.
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of learning poker helped me a lot in my early days of Mahjong.
Yes, I don't have any experience playing poker, but I have experience watching people play poker. It's weird, right? I don't know. I probably would really enjoy it, but I just don't gamble. I think is my issue. I do like mahjong because I don't feel like I'm actually gambling anything. I just like the
Yeah, I
worst I
mean
could lose is some points.
there are play money sites as well where you don't actually have to gamble anything. You can just kind of enjoy the game a bit, and they go. They can get to pretty high level when you get like up in the play money ranks. So there's no
Yeah,
actual gambling at all, but people do feel like they kind of have a stake in it.
you see. Also, we have someone saying the coolest so tile. I see. Okay, we have a 3 so fan. Let's see it. And with the 2 dragon pairs, of course, we're going to call them. Ideally, get both for the extra hand here. It's an interesting decision, right? Because
Yeah, I think, I mean, Usually you just pick one of the pairs here, so she'll keep the 6-dot pair. Discarding the 7-dot or the 2 bamboo gives you the perfect ishonten shape.
I think the spicy value chasing part of me is like, cut the 9 pin. Go for the pure seekers and Tanyao. All inside. Get both at the same time.
If you want to go for that, it's still probably better to discard the 2 bamboo.
That's fair, yeah.
Because it gives you a few more options to get to Tenpai.
Yeah. But speaking of Tenpai, they've managed to make it. And she's going to... Where are you guys on the 1-4? We do see 2 of the 1s and 1 of the 4s here, so... We have information they don't, but...
Yeah, and good thing that she didn't take your advice, because she would not have been Tenpai there.
True. Oh, the 3. I saw the Manzu. I got excited for a second there. Thought we were going to be seeing an Ipatsu, but not quite. Oh. Yeah, Sakayori dealer here. I think you're right in that we are allowed to fold this if we are the dealer. Much as you might want to push. I think it's totally okay.
Yeah, Sara's just folding out. Sakayori and is now also completely folding.
It's a good thing that one man would have dealt in, so...
Okada really wants to discard that 1 dot, but just not sure it's safe and does not holds on to it for now. Still has an option to Tenpai later. It's just 1 away, but
yeah, I think for Okada,
more efficient route.
Because she is in second place and because it is so close, I think honestly maybe just taking a step back, a better opportunity might come later. You know.
Yeah, it's still in the East too. There's plenty of time to look for more opportunities. Although Sakayori might end up getting all pairs. The way that she's discarding. Just this hand is trying so hard to Tenpai.
They're all approaching, and yet they're all mobile. Okay, not all every hand here is doomed, but those 1-mans just sitting in the hand. Actually, I think all the 1-4s are almost accounted for right now. We see all 4 of the 1-mans. Do we see every 4? Oh, I think there's still 2 left.
Yeah, I only see 2.
Okay,
in the hands of
2 in
Sara
the hands of
and
1 in
Sakayori.
discards. So only 1 tile left for this Riichi. Unfortunately for her. So yeah, interesting how we could have seen a Riichi here from Sara, but Sara's like, no, you know what? I don't need to do this.
Tenpai. What is Okada gonna do?
That 1 pin is scary.
I think
how scary is it?
Just doesn't have any evidence that it's safe. It doesn't look that terrible.
We see a few of the 2 pins out, so that does roll out 2-3. We see if it doesn't completely roll it out, but it helps.
There's 3 out, and it's an early discard for the Reacher, and she pushes it, takes her Tenpai.
I think in this situation is often really worth pushing a hand like that, just because at this point being Tenpais could be worth 1,500 points, issuing that only 2 players are ready.
Yeah, it's probably pretty obvious that everyone else is folding, but...
Oh no, this is not the tile you want to draw! But, yes. The door indicator.
Yeah, we know it doesn't deal in, but it's... So she's counting, trying to find some logic and some reason that she can discard it.
Yeah, if we assume that it is Pinfu and that it is waiting on a 2-sided weight, how many options of 2-sided weights are left? It's something I try and do occasionally, but I'm really bad at counting those out.
Yeah, the Suji count. Especially when you get to the last discard, basically. If this is the last discard, then usually most of the Suji count is already exhausted.
Yes. The 5 did not deal in, but I think it was probably wise to avoid dealing in, or at least risk dealing in on that. Having said that, though, Losing 1,000 points when instead we could have gained 1,500. It means a 2,500 point swing from folding there. And it probably
still
won't
very comfortably in second place though, so
yeah.
not a huge.
Yeah, it probably won't add up. But if they do lose by 2,500 points or less, then we will know. It was that time we folded when we could have. No. I still can't justify it. I'm sorry. I was trying to. But no. It is very, very risky.
Yeah, we don't have to justify it unless she actually does discard it and deals in. Then we have to find justification.
Apart from, this is really awkward shape here. We've got a decent start, but there's too many. I think people call it shrapnel, right? When you've got a lot of honor tiles and nines and things just sitting there.
That's a good name. I actually didn't know that name.
Like you just got to clean up all the little pieces before you can actually build a good hand. Oh, but that 3 so immediately coming in to save the weaker shape in that hand.
Sara's hand is shaping up though to be a tateniu inside hand. Kamo's hand is tateniu inside hand. Sara also gets a good draw. Okada's hand is kind of the slowest one, I think, on the table right now. Which kind of sucks as dealer.
Yeah. So that though, as you say, Okada is in a very comfortable second. So much as he would love to take advantage of getting a load of points in your dealership, there's not too much pressure. Unless you're really desperate for huge amounts of points, which maybe you are at this point, given the team situation, but... Or the age-old question, do I keep a bad shape, a bad block? Sometimes I think it's worth it, but not this time. Cut the 1-3.
Yeah, I think she wants the flexibility, to have the flexibility of being able to call the tateniu hand.
Yes, that's absolutely.
It's actually Okada's first time playing in the Yukan Fuji Cup. Which is interesting because she has been around for a few years. I would have expected her to have played before, but nope.
I mean, never a better time to start learning, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I always want to play in the Yukan Fuji Cup. I think a lot of people do. Not only is it a really fun tournament, there's always people, they're always tweeting about it and posting about it, and when you're not on a team, it feels a little bit lonely to see all those updates.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see the sort of FOMO aspect. I don't really do social media as much as maybe I ought to, but I could definitely see feeling jealous of all the cool things that are happening. Aw.
Well, I mean, like, not only, it's also, a team, so it's like, oh, these people have friends.
Oh, no! Oh. I was going to be talking about the interesting situation where 2 players have the Dora, and neither wants to cut it because they would ideally love to draw a pair themselves, but she was 3 players with a Dora each.
There we go. Finally came out. Okada, the dealer, will take the initiative in cutting the Dora. We'll probably see the next one come out right here.
Yeah, Sara's hand was too good, so Sara cut Dora, and then Okada cut it immediately afterwards. But interesting. I guess at that point, once 2 have been played, you can sort of keep it as a safe tile, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a good safety. It might be like a better weight actually, but 2 of them came out. Yeah, could be. Yeah, it would be a safe tile. It'd also be a fun, albeit a little bit risky weight.
I've definitely managed to make that work once or twice, but I try not to rely on things like that because you never know where that last tile is. It could be in the dead wall. You may never see it.
Yeah, true, but it also works almost like the closest thing you can get to a Suji trap in the honors.
That's true, because if someone draws it, of course you're gonna think it's safe. Of course you are.
Like, yeah, you wouldn't reach with only one winning tile left, and it's the Dora, right?
Well, we saw that as the 7 mana is the con.
Yeah, you have to con twice to get there. Or 3 times? 3 times to get there.
Yeah, I don't think it's really a big deal. But we do have a reach. 1/4 pin being the weight. People always talk about tiles around the reach tile being more dangerous. And in this case, it's the tile right before that 3 pin. It's always good to try and mask it a little bit by playing the 3 pin just a little bit earlier than you need to reach.
Yeah, if you're playing against the reach, you would definitely want to look at kind of both of them.
And the 1 is going to take it. On the first turn, no less. So, no Uradora, but still Riichi Ipatsu Pinfu. Very nice pickup for Okada, getting her back into first place. I believe, right? Was Okada who won? Yeah, she's the one who reached.
Yes.
I was about to say,
yes, we'll have
well, I saw her points go down
south.
1,000 points. And I got a little confused there.
We'll have another East 3 hand.
It was the overlay deducting her Riichi stick just a little bit late. She'd already won, and I saw the 1,000 points go down by 1,000. I was like, huh?
Right, yeah.
That was her Riichi stick, which is now won back. Okay.
Yeah, the previous overlay, they would actually like turn off the overlay and adjust the points and then turn it back on. And now they do it more in real time. Still a slight delay, but as they're checking the scores and making sure that everybody's scoring correctly.
Many thanks, of course, to everyone behind the scenes who is working hard on like providing the camera work and stuff like that. It is a tough job. And I think underappreciated sometimes when you're the person trying to handle this live.
Yeah, they actually do list the engineers on the YouTube channel. Maybe not on Mondo, but on the JPML channel. They have a director and the engineer and they list the staff for the broadcasts as well.
I think that's a good thing, honestly. Because it's just like I think even the people behind the scenes are still cast members, right? Almost.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess on our end, we should shout out Nathanael for handling the stuff behind the scenes. We'll be seeing Nathanael later on today, though. So, yeah. Anyway, how are things looking right now in East 3, repeat number 3?
Okada's looking possibly going to go for the half flush, just keeping that open-ended until the last second to make a decision.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do, right? When you've got a bad block, that 7-9 pin, you just sort of cut the 7-9 pin, you think, okay, maybe I can go something else. You secretly just hoping to draw anything useful. But
yeah,
if you draw nothing but Manzu tiles...
Yeah, the Mahjong winds are telling her you gotta go for the flush here.
With that pair, or with that triplet of Yakai is very good. I think she's also holding a Dora, right? So, obviously not the only one holding a Dora, but
yeah,
potentially a lot of value here.
A similar situation to the last hand where everybody has one Dora and nobody wants to cut it.
I think it's different when you're flushing, though. I think I'm much more likely to hold a Dora if I'm flushing.
Yeah, but the other people are also likely to not discard it if it's an honor tile.
That's very true.
If they can see that you're going for that flush.
So the question is going to be, with 2 of the white dragons available, who will draw them first? Actually, to be honest, we might not even have that story. That might be the main story. It might be Kamo, who ends up getting to Tempai before anyone else has a chance. Oh, that is Tempai.
Does she want to discard the Dora or not? She could discard the Dora, someone might pawn, and then she'll have to keep going, but luckily nobody pawns. Lucky for her.
The stars have aligned. It's safe for now. The 7 will deal in. Oh, it's fine. No one saw anything.
And discarding that one Dora gives everyone else the cue to discard their Doras as well. Only one person had a Dora this time, but
Yes. It's a lot easier when you see it's safe than, say, if you're a little bit scared. We do see a 4 of characters pass this sort of half-flash tempai, but if we are considering it as a half-flash,
oh, she goes for
interesting
the
switch.
Shabo.
I
Goes for the Shabo and not for the 6-9 weight.
say, would you have chosen 6-9 weight there?
Usually. Usually I'd pick the 6-9 weight, but there's some like 9s out, and there's not even that many 6-9s out already.
Yeah, I don't think I see any 6s discarded.
It might be that she thought the 8 would be too obvious as a 6-9 weight and tried to be a little bit tricky.
I think we see 2 7s discarded. I'm trying to picture that. So maybe she's hoping that there's going to be a wall built up on 7 of characters. Oh, we can see a Khan. We are. But yes, if we see where all 4 of the 7 man are at any given time, then at least it rules out the option of someone having 6, 7 as a shape. So the 8 and 9 will look safer.
Right.
But that is going to rely on someone knowing where the other 2 7 man are. Also, hang on, what's that, Dora? The pawn was a red dragon, right? It wasn't green.
No, it's red.
Okay, we haven't seen scary amounts of Dora.
The
Just
green
moderately
dragons
scary
are
amounts.
all out on the board already.
Yes.
All discarded.
And the 9 does come out. So that's going to be a half flush with. I think it's just a red dragon, yes.
Many
foo. Yes.
Let's see a manga on hand.
I did that today with one of my half flushes. Just like, I'm carding. I don't really need to card. It's not adding much value unless I get very lucky, but I'll take 50 foo. I'd like foo, please. And the foo battered. The extra points do add up.
Yeah, this was, I think, 60.
Yeah, this was a closed count of North. In my case, it was specifically an open one. So, half as many for me. But yes. Yeah, honestly, though, the food do add up, right? And
yeah.
I know people like to say
I was
can't
wrong. It
apply.
was 70. 70. I don't know. I was counting 22.
Yeah, I know the meme is can't
No.
flow,
No, I
but
did
I can't
60. I was
food.
right the first time. God. I was right the first time, and then for some reason I doubted myself.
Honestly, sometimes it just flashes ahead. It's easy to miss like key details like that sometimes. When
Yeah,
you get
most
hand
of
clear.
my scoring mistakes are when I say it correctly the first time and then fix it the wrong way.
Is there a meaning to the color of the back of the tiles? So I believe the auto table has 2 sets. So you'll be playing with one set, and then it will be shuffling the other set. The reason why the backs of the tiles are different colors is because it's good to know sort of which set you're dealing with. So you may notice that every time the new hand starts, we'll be switching from, I believe, yellow and is it red? I can't remember what the other color is now.
This
Or is
should
it
be
blue?
blue. Yeah, usually
Yeah.
blue and yellow is the standard.
There's basically a way to make sure that you're not using tiles in the last hand. They should all be thrown into the middle of the machine at the end of each hand to get shuffled. Basically, I think it's just a nice little way of distinguishing.
Yeah, it's kind of necessary because there are times when somebody might forget to put in like a pawn or a con. And if the tiles get mixed up on the top of the table, you have to turn them all over and count them if they were the same color. So
Yes. Yeah, imagine if you had to organize them each time you shuffled. Yeah, exactly. So apart from that, I don't think there's any special meaning, but it's just that's why they are marked differently. So
yeah, there'll always be 2 different colors on auto tables.
Back to this hand. We're still in East 3, repeat number 4 now. Although, do you have a very strong, a very fast hand building from Sara, who's currently in 94th place with a score of minus 9.5. But I think yesterday we saw that the scores were what? I think top 25 was 70 points. So going from minus 9 to plus 70 is not that hard. Sara could easily, if she manages to make a comeback here, get back into the lead. But yeah, she's apparently a veteran of Yukan Fuji, but has changed team this year. So I wonder if she likes her new teammates, if she's happy with the... Of course she's happy, but like... But yeah, hopefully having a good time. It's the worst thing having an extra child on your table. Oh, yeah.
There were a lot more teams this year than before. So they kept having to add, when you add one team, you have to add 4 teams. And they did not have any trouble filling that quota this year. It's a very popular tournament.
That's awesome. Okay, so I'm still looking at our dealer's hand here. I assume that this was a orphan's attempt, given how unfortunate the opening hand was for her. But it's not developed very well either. It's just kind of stuck. It is a good draw for the dealer, though.
Yeah, it's just still so far away.
Yeah. I guess, is East still live? East has been played once, so there's still a chance that she could pawn double East. But it's a lot to ask for, especially when we've got other hands like this from Sara. This is also just not quite there at the middle of row 2. Too many Kanchan shapes.
Everything's so far away, and when you're Okada and you have this many floating honor tiles that you're not seeing on the board, then you start to think maybe other people have pairs of them, and my pair isn't going to come.
Yes. That is a huge pull for Kamo, though. Getting the Dora, filling in that 2-4 shape. I think this particular hand's just going to be a two-person battle here. I really want to cheer on the other two, trying to just get any kind of useful draw, but that is Tenpai. The weight is not ideal, but it's still probably the only Tenpai we might see today. Oh, unless no, that's not quite there yet. Still one away. But with that reach, it's going to be hard to justify. Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be hard to justify pushing this, given it's still so far from Tenpai. So we do see a guaranteed save.
She's away the Ipatsu, I guess. Doesn't look like she's really going for it with her own hand, but
yeah, I think it's a big ask for that hand to ever get to Tenpai.
I think she just decided she had enough safe tiles and so that Kamo wouldn't get any shot at Ipatsu. Any shot at one shot.
I hate to say this, but as a commentator, this might be one of those few times that this is already going to go to exhaustive draw. I can just see it happening. As we do see where one of those souths are already. I think 6 man has been played. Or is it being held by other players as well? Or maybe not. Maybe not. There might still be a chance for a last minute sumo. Oh, they're not quite reached. No.
Not sideways. It's not sideways.
No. Didn't mean to do that. It's all good. Although that's interesting. With that 9 discard, I don't think anyone's going to be convinced to play 6, but we've at least ruled out some potential shapes that could deal in on that 6.
Did you notice the strategic branding on Sara's hand there? I can't actually make out the logo, but sticker on the hand. The hand is the only part that really shows. So it's an interesting place to put on branding.
I did notice there was like a patch. I didn't necessarily pay attention to what was actually on it. I should probably check.
Yeah, no, I think it looks like a sticker. I wasn't able to hear her interview for the original broadcast this time, but yeah. It looks like kind of a branding sticker. I think it's not a band-aid, I don't think. Right there. It's just the colors don't make it stick out very
Oh, I can
well.
see there's text there. Right, yes.
Yeah.
I saw the shininess and I was like, oh, that's nice. I just didn't really think about what was written on it. Oh no, the advertising got to me.
Yeah, I think that probably a little bit colors that pop a little bit more, and it could be a very effective branding position.
Yeah. I would like to shout out the almost tenpai we got to see, I think, from Sakayori. She almost managed to sneak in there at the very last minute. Not for any Yaku, she wouldn't have had any win conditions, but just being able to claim that tenpai payment, I gotta respect the attempt of staying safe, but also, keeping a path to a ready hand available. Would have mentioned it had she actually managed to get there, but it didn't quite happen. But we have finally left East 3 to a very exciting East 4 here with 5 repeat counters and 1 Riichi stick. There's quite the pot here to whoever manages to win this one. I believe each continuous counter is 300 points, as you have come to expect, hopefully. And so, 2,500 points bonus to whoever manages to take this next hand. It's one of these things where it sometimes seems very small, but a lot of very small things added up.
Yeah, I think anybody would just want to probably get a hand as quickly as possible. Even Sara way down in 1,000 with only 1,100.
And that's, I think, what we're seeing here. Looks like Sara is trying to maybe angle this towards all simples, but we'll see. We'll see if she can get it all inside. Does seem like that is the route of our dealer as well. Actually, does Sara have a chance for a 2-3-4 mixable sequence? I should check that again when it comes back around. Maybe there's more than just a very cheap hand available to her right now. Would love to see it succeed. Speaking of a mixable sequence, 5-6-7 is available for our dealer here. There's a very real chance that the 8s will be used, and that will ruin the 5-6-7, but to at least have that as an option in the back of your mind. Maybe the stars will align. It's one of these things that sometimes, like with a hand like Sanchoku, it only ever pays off maybe 2 every 10 times. But those 2 times that you get 2 extra hand might be the 2 games you would have won, or you would have lost otherwise.
Yeah, it's really good stacking Yaku. Stacking with things like Ipeiko and Pinfu, Tanyao.
Yeah, Sakayori here, choosing to try and keep the efficiency going, cutting the... I guess she had a choice. She could have cut the West early and kept the twice cut White Dragon, but, trying to keep the chance of pairing it up as an option.
Yeah, I think maybe keeping it as a safe tile. The Dora is already out. So Dora is south. They're already on the board. The West, I'm not sure how much value the West brings her, but there's already 2 Wests on the board as well, so it looks like it's a safe tile for the reach. Yeah.
By the way, there's twice cut. Okay, that's me just having a failure to read. But this is going to be our first reach from Okada.
So this is what she kept the West for. This situation exactly.
Yes. Having 1 safe tile sometimes just gives you a second to think, and then you can be like, okay, now what do I do from here?
Yeah, and with these rules, especially for the Ippatsu, you want to have 1 safe tile to A little bit easier to push when it's not ippatsu.
That's definitely true, yeah. That very first turn after reach is the most dangerous one.
Yeah, it's like the often heard phrase is, well, let's just avoid ippatsu to start out with. But
Unfortunately,
ippatsu was not avoided this time, and Okada will win another hand.
imagine if you use Akadora true. Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, because I know M League, which also is run on Manga TV, uses the red fives, but this rule set does not. So it's
Yeah,
always
with red
interesting to see.
fives, you'll see a lot more calling and a lot more, yeah, just a lot more open hands and
Yeah,
trying to
a
get
lot
to
of it,
faster tempi.
like all inside is so much better when there are red fives available. Like trying to go for that, almost maybe not every hand, but just having the option of, hey, if I go all inside, there's a good chance I'm going to pick up at least one extra hand from a red five. It's definitely changes how you think, for sure.
Yeah, even just single value sets, like when you have red fives, and you can just easily get 2 or 3 Dora without without even building any value.
Exactly. But yeah, we don't have any today, and we are now in the South round, South 1. Plenty of repeats in the East round. Will we see the same thing here? I guess Sara's going to hope so, given the points that she needs to grab herself. Although looking at Sara's hand here, it's got a long way to go, unfortunately. Very unlike Sakayori's hand, who's playing itself, and even Kamo's hand has the pair of dragons, but actually, I take it back. It's not as good as I thought it was. I saw the pair of dragons, I got kind of excited, but until you get that pair becomes becoming a triplet, got a lot to think about, really. And even if you do call it, where's the value coming from?
Yeah, now that we're in the South round, generally you want to be in a position where you can go for more value in the East round and then go for quicker hands in the South round, but once you've lost a lot of points, you don't have that luxury anymore, and you have to go for points even in the South round.
Yeah. Like, ideally, I guess it's like, yeah, it's definitely interesting seeing the sort of difference between playing an East only and playing a East South. Because, yeah, as you say, the East round's kind of like a setup almost. Ideally, you want to have a lead going in, but it does mean that the South round can go any number of ways based on the situation you've left yourself in. That is a very useful draw for Kamo, but God here.
Yeah,
I
she
almost
had
want to
the
discard.
choice of keeping that floater, or we have like a triple Kanchan.
Yeah, I almost want to discard the 8 of bamboo there, just because we see 1/7 bamboo already gone, and I kind of like that floater. Just I think it could be very useful down the line.
I do
Let's hope
like
for her.
keeping the option of getting a 3-sided weight.
Let's hope for her that the 8 of bamboo does not betray. She can get a tempo that way. Although we having called that white dragon triplet, it is a very cheap one-hand push. I guess for her, that's not the worst case scenario. And this is an upgrade. Getting a triplet of. I know we talked about Kai and Khufu earlier, but maybe if we do see the last 9 of the 9 pin has been
I think
discarded.
she's gonna probably want to lock in a pair somewhere. So hoping to fill something in the bamboos, and there it is. That's a perfect draw.
Yeah, really good play keeping the triplet there because it means we can pair up any other single tile to get to Tenpai. But
Right,
this
any
time,
of the 6, 7, or 8 bamboo draw would have been very welcome there.
I don't think I complain about drawing 7 though. So what's the hesitation here?
I think I like that when you think that the 6 is still safe at that point, then you discard the from the inside, and then if you draw the inside tile later, you can discard the safer outside tile.
That does make sense, yeah.
Yeah, if you were to redraw the 6, a lot of times if you discard from the outside and then you draw another 6, you have to discard the more dangerous inside tile at that point. So it's
And we saw
very, yeah, it's not a huge difference, but it can make a difference. Yeah.
it's like planning, yeah, it's keeping a safe tile in the back pocket for later. It's, yeah, it makes sense. Commentary is very choppy. Oh no. Oh goodness. Can anyone confirm if that's like, is it on us? Is it on your end specifically? If there are issues, please tell us.
The video is fine, but the sound is choppy.
Oh no.
Hmm. It looks like there's, yeah, a quick disconnect. So if it continues, then please comment again.
Okay, if it was just a blip, then
Yeah.
hopefully we'll be good from here on in. But yes, if it is continuing, yeah, do comment. But yeah, speaking of things being good, Sakayori's opening hand is very exciting. Looks very quick and potentially a happy Riichi Pinfu. I know I don't always talk. I know I talk about it too much sometimes, but when I see it once, I have to see it every time. I'm also thinking about Itsu as well in those character tiles. Still missing a few, and they are going to be hard to draw. But we just need the 8 and the 9, and there's a 9 of characters. Is Itsu real? Oh, and the 5. But is Itsu real? You're straight. Just missing
Yes,
2 tiles.
and she does, it is still a hedge, so if she draws the right one, she can get rid of the 1/3 on the edge there, the
Exactly.
middleweight.
Yeah, we can always just draw the
And she
2.
will anyway.
Yeah. The option to draw the 2 was there, right? We could have drawn the 2 pin and then just been like, you know what? We don't need to go for this other thing. But why not go for both? Oh, I'm excited to see whether we see those. Let's actually quickly check. We see 2 of the 8 of characters played consecutively by Okada. Almost like she sees that the character is going to be needed and has just got rid of them immediately before they even become a danger. Otherwise, let's talk about everyone else right now because, well, there's interesting situations where we end up cutting the Easts there to try and turn the hand into all simples, but a very nice potential all simples and Pinfu is available.
Kamo going for the common flush, half flush.
Yeah, I was wondering if you might want to keep that, but I guess we already cut the 8, so there's a bit of an awkward overlap between based on things we've previously discarded.
And one way to add a lot of extra value to your hand is going for the flush in the Dora suit.
That's definitely true, yeah.
You don't really have the choice, but if you have to choose between going for a flush and not going for a flush, if it is the Dora suit, you might lean towards the flush more than if it's not.
I guess the other issue is that other players are more likely to hold the Dora and not play them. But then, if you're going for a flush, you're not exactly being subtle usually. People know what you're doing. So giving them a problem and telling them to deal with it, I think, is sometimes quite fun in Mahjong. I'm just here to be an issue for you.
Oh yeah, lots of reaches like that.
Yeah.
I have a lot of potential changes in my hand. I have a lot of potential value in my hand, but if I reach right now, you are going to have problems. So that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. And that's often why we talk about Insta Riichi a lot, right? Because it does just cause sort of forcing an opponent to make a decision. If they decide to play defensively to act against their own speed, this is actually still not perfect here, but it's good. Getting that 1-3-5 hidden inside that 3-4-5.
Exactly.
I think it's very easy to miss sometimes, but
yeah, so it completes one sequence and then it gives you the hidden one that you mentioned. Right.
I do like to have the image of like a potential shape just hiding inside another one. You can't see me. Yeah. No, I can. I've missed you enough times. Ooh, there's that 5. Got to play the Dora to make this.
Yeah, that's Senpai.
But I think it's worth it. Does our dealer Sakayori think it's worth it to go all in on this 8 of characters wait? Actually, we see 2 of the 8s already played, right? So she knows at best it's a 2-tile wait.
And reaches. Hey, komare. So we say, so komare means have problems, basically. Be in trouble.
I see. I love that. That sounds great. Just showing up and be like, you know what? I'm here to have fun. I'm gonna do this. Oh, right. The S, of course, it was called. Of course. Yeah, the tile being sideways just is something you have to do. And they're not the only person Tenpai. Thanks to that 2 of bamboo call that we see earlier.
Oh, there's a winning tile in Kamo's hand. It does not help her flush at all, but she will not discard the 8.
Only 1 left by my count. And 5-8 of bamboo deal into this hand right here of Okada. Not content to have 54,900 points. No, she wants more, and that is absolutely reasonable. Although, taking a slightly slower route to stay just a little bit safer, only can win on the 6 of bamboo now.
No, Sara knows that she's not going to Tenpai this as a flush. Oh, but she discards the 8. It was a tricky wait, and it paid off. I think the early 7 really paid off here.
3 6s and 2 7s, and one of the 7s was really early. Exactly.
Yeah, the 3rd discard. So a lot of people in English, they call it sotogawa. In English, even though it's a Japanese word, but in Japanese we have a little bit different way to say it, but the early discard.
Is it based on a name of someone who
I know it's shortened from the Japanese. The sotogawa means outside.
Okay.
So you can say like sotogawa kara kiru, so discard from the outside, which means like discard from the 9 or from the 8 or but then joban no steihai no sotogawa. So that means outside tiles to the early discards, and then in English it's just been shortened to sotogawa, which means outside tile.
I guess that makes sense. We like to just take a word and completely remove all nuance from it. Yeah, that's something we do.
I think
Atsuzuke is another one, right?
Atsuzuke?
Like the Atsuzuke rule. Because usually it's like with Atsuzuke being allowed rather than being the rule.
Atsuzuke ari.
Yes.
And sakizuke ari, they both mean that you don't have to have a yaku decided. The problem is saki, the word saki can also mean before sometimes. So some people misunderstand it to mean sakizuke ari to mean that you have to have a yaku first. But no, they both mean the same thing. And kanzen sakizuke means you have to have a yaku before you can win the hand.
Yeah, I think I've heard people describe it as like, oh, it's this bad thing that you can't do, but you actually can do it. It's just, it's...
Yeah, there used to be rules where you weren't allowed to. You had to, like, if you couldn't win on the red dragon if the other winning tile did not give you a yaku.
Yes.
So that's called kanzen sakizuke. But saki can mean before and after, so it's really confusing.
I think I've lost the plot with my my comparison, but yes, nuance. Tell you what isn't nuance though. This Pinfu building in Okada's hand. I love how even ahead, she's still making like really fast. Honestly, these hands have been really, really, really quick, really efficient, and one away from tempo right now.
Trying to decide which side to discard from. Probably going and go straight for the pair, or not the pair, the Dora side weight.
Yeah, hang on. This is Sara, right? I'm just thinking I would be more inclined to want to keep that, right? Because I want to try and get as much value as possible, even if it does mean that we are being a little bit less efficient.
Yeah, it's just that the Dora indicator is so hard to win on.
That is true. Yeah, it's tough sometimes, right? When you feel pressured, you're in Sal 2, you want to try and make some value happen, but it's got to come from somewhere. I don't know. This is where I start stressing out and I make bad decisions. I know that.
Yeah, and her team was in a good position to try and catch up to Maze Bar. So
I
it's
will
kind
say,
of
at the very least, Sarah can get out of last place here. There's still plenty of time to gain
true.
4,000 points. 40,000? Maybe not. But we do have, I guess, two different battles going on right now. We have a battle for first and a battle for third. And I think
Yeah.
both are definitely worth fighting.
Yeah, the battle for third it's actually only worth about 10 points.
Yeah,
The battle for first is worth like 30 points.
I think the gaps get bigger the higher up you go. So yeah, that's absolutely true. But still, sometimes if the best you can fight for is 10 points, maybe those are the 10 points that you need. I'm trying to be optimistic, but it is a bad situation for both those teams.
I mean, oh yeah, definitely winning like a 3,900 point hand that gets you that extra 10 UMA is makes it a 13,900 point hand. So it's definitely worth it. But the difference between first and second is just so much bigger.
I'd also like to just point out that Okada right now has been Tenpai for a while, but she has chosen not to reach. Because she has that massive lead, she's choosing to Dharma this just to try and sneak a very quick win off someone. It's one of those interesting situations where I think the EV play is always to Riichi, but because she is in the lead and she knows that just winning a cheap hand moves the game to Sal 3, I think it's very interesting that she's chosen to stay closed here.
Yeah, I wonder if there's...
So yeah, her weight right now is just 1/4 of bamboo. Oh, she's 310 as well. That might explain it. That might explain it. I just saw I just noticed the one so in her discard, the second discard.
Yeah, Furiten. And another thing is that if your hand doesn't have a lot of value, if it was just going to be reach only or reach Pinfu, the potential to deal into somebody else, and that's just upgraded to a possible Tanyao, yeah.
It's also a possible Sanshoku, but I think she's cut the 2 of characters already. But I'm seeing 2, 3, 4 as a potential.
So there's just so much, and she'll draw it, but there's so much risk of dealing into someone else after you reach. When other people are chasing points, they're willing to take bigger risks. So you really just don't have to risk those points for just a 2,000 point hand.
That's fair.
I ended up being 700, 1,300 here, but
it makes sense, especially from the lead.
So
generally in Mahjong,
Dora?
She had an 8. Yeah, she had an 8 characters. One Dora. But yeah, generally in Mahjong, you want to take less risks when you're ahead and more risks when you're behind. But
right.
Yes.
You're kind of forced to.
yeah, exactly. True. Unless you're playing like a weird event where...
Okay, you're not forced to not take risks when you're ahead, but you're forced to take risks when you're behind.
Yes.
I guess that's accurate.
Yeah,
no one can make you not take those risks when you're ahead.
There are some events where you could take risks from ahead, right?
Yeah,
it just depends on the rank bonus.
You can always take risks when you're ahead. It's just better not to.
think, for example, like say Roddle, the World Reach Online Team League. I think currently in the 3-player version, the rank bonus isn't huge. So like taking a huge risk, even when you're ahead, to get more points for your team, I think is not necessarily a bad thing. If your hand is good enough, of course.
Mm. Yeah, you really got to
Yeah.
get like a big first places.
In
And
an
so
ideal
you
world,
also don't want to be the last stealer.
yes. The scary part.
Now, when you're last stealer, you can't, because in the current rules for Roddle, this wasn't true in the 4-player Roddle, but in 3-player Roddle, the game ends when you're in first place as dealer.
That is true.
So it's
Yeah.
better to be first or second dealer so you can have more continuances.
That's fair, yeah. There's also busting as well, which is something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Well, I think the first roll had that as well.
No, I thought there was no busting.
Okay, maybe I'm mixing my rules now. Oh no. But yes. Absolutely though. If you can get someone out, then as long as it comes at your benefit, go for it. Anyway, back to the current match. We are in South 3.
We actually have matches in front of us now.
Do
Memories of games gone past.
I'm very excited about this potential Pure sequence here from Sara. With Dora 2, I know having to draw the 8 of characters is going to be very difficult. And maybe there's a way we could try and get a shape that doesn't need the 8 characters. But I'm very excited about the...
discarded the 1.
Oh, you're thinking about Itsu.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be
discarding
that.
I think if she discarded the green dragon, she could have hedged the full straight, the Itsu as well. Oh, there was busting in the first. Okay, thank you,
Okay, well,
Harrison.
thank you for weighing in on that. But yeah, we do see one of the 8 of characters gone. I really want to see that succeed, because that would put Sara in a position where at least she has a fighting chance going into South 4.
Yeah, she's still not very far away from 3rd place.
That's true. Yeah.
It's really just like, I mean, drawing a 1,000, 2,000 point hand.
And with that 7 so, maybe we miss out on the Pure sequence, but there's lots of ways that this hand now ends with just a normal Tenpai. A reachable Tenpai with Dora 2. Maybe not as valuable, but that is one of the Tenpais available. And the reach will come out, needing to win on the 8 of characters here, but we do see at least 2 of them accounted for. We see 3 of them accounted for, I believe, so there's only 1 left to draw. But
that's all you need. All you need is 1.
Exactly. Reach Pure sequence to Dora. Happy Mangan. I'd be very happy to get that in this situation. Honestly, if I was Sara and I got 3rd place at the end of this, I would feel like a winner. But how's everyone else doing here? Kamo going to be fighting this as well. She doesn't want to be the one left behind in 4th place. And got to respect that too, but her draws are just not quite there, unfortunately. Yeah, still 2 away from being able to win. We do see an interesting situation, though, from our Reach player. Sara had the opportunity to close to Khan, the 7 of Bamboo there, but she was not confident enough in her 8-1 weight to take that Khan. I would have probably taken the Khan.
You just maybe was discarding too quickly.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where I think the only reason I would Khan is because I'm in last place. But from her position, I would have gone for it.
Yeah, I think it's probably better to Khan, but sometimes just forgets.
IRL misclicks definitely happen. I know that. That's fair. That's very relatable.
In real life misclicks.
Yes. I should have done that. Oh, it's too late now. Oh, there's the 8-man. There's the final 8-man. So we know it wasn't in the Khan draw tile. So there are no tiles left to win on for Sara's Reach here. But I do think everyone else here unless we're seeing some sort of 7-pair switch here, probably not going to be making it to Tenpai.
Yeah, it's just not gonna come out.
So the question is, oh, there's another pair. I don't know if 7 pairs is achievable here, but there's maybe a world where the 8-man deal's in here. I hate to say it.
Maybe, yeah, but being right next to the door, it's probably likely they'll discard something else.
More than likely.
Probably. Yeah.
And that's only going to happen if we get 2 perfect draws that she gets to Tenpai in the first place.
Yeah, even
Otherwise,
Suji traps are really hard to make work when it's right next to the door.
yes. I think we're just going to see West here and the gate, and this hand will be over. I think the most important thing to remember is Okada here is going to be folding. She has no reason to push, so we will be moving on to South 4. But I do think, with the tempo situation here, it's going to make South 4 very interesting. I think Sara's still behind now, but with a 4,000 point swing, are they tied? Hang on. No, I miscalculated that.
Because she reached, I think. The reach stick.
I did a...
Still would have been 400 different points, yeah.
Yeah, I did a silly thing where I saw minus 1,700 and then 700 and thought, yes, that's equivalent. No, that's not right. Not quite right. Because minus 700 is basically a 300, not a 700. Yeah. I'm very good at mental maths, I swear. But still, with the scores as close as they are, and a Riichi stick on the table, with 1 Riichi stick and 1 Honba, whoever wins this between Sara and Kamo will take 3rd place.
Yeah, it just needs 1,000 point win. And if Kamo wins, then she'll continue as dealer, so...
That's also very true. It's not exactly going great for Okada in M League. Oh, we have some M League gossip. I actually don't know that too well. But yes. Anyways, as we go into the very last round, Okada's hand is not that good right now, but she doesn't need it to be. So this is going to be a question of what you do when your opening hand is really bad. Are we going to be seeing her folding from the very beginning? It looks like the answer is no, at least not immediately. But this is already one away.
Yeah, Sakayori's hand looking really good. Probably not enough to get into first place, but definitely enough to kind of end Kamo's dealership with.
Yeah, I think even with a 2nd place finish here for Sakayori, Team Mazebar is going to be very happy with a 2nd place, especially considering the player in first is the player in last. So the gap between Team Mazebar and the other teams here is going to only widen.
Right.
So this is a huge victory for her.
Sara just does not have anything to work with here.
Yeah. I do kind of want to cheer on Kamo.
Oh, sorry, Kamo, yes, Kamo.
I do kind of want to cheer her on.
Yeah, the characters are a little bit fuzzy for me, so the 2 characters. Most names have more than 2 characters, so just my mind goes automatically to Sara.
Kamo is a champion of Cinderella Fight, and she streams on the Ron channel. Actually, if we look at her individual score, she is also one of the players who has a really good chance of hitting the top individual players' scores. This is going to hurt those chances a bit, but with a current score of 31.2, if she can get a win or 2 on the bounce, maybe turn this into a smaller negative, maybe we might be able to see her in the individual finals.
Maybe. She does have 9 games though, so yeah, it will depend on how many games her teammates have to play as well.
That's true, yeah, everyone's got a minimum, right? Yes, I hadn't thought about that. Because I know that near the end, you might want to put the players who've been doing really well individually in more to try and give them a chance to get into that final. But if you haven't played enough games, you haven't met the quota, that's a very good point. Either way, though, this could be over very quickly with this reach. We see most of the 4s. I think we see most of the 7s as well, actually, don't we? So the 4-7 of Bamboo reach here is a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, we see 3 of the 4s and 3 of the 7s, I think, at least. So?
Yeah. Definitely not going to come out of Okada's hand. Okada is just going to fold. Doesn't need to do anything.
That's our last 4?
The last 4 finally makes Kamo's hand actually look... this is...
It looks
yeah.
I think is probably the correct word. But that's the scary thing about Kamo's hand, right? She can't deal in. Much you might want to push and keep your dealership going. If you deal in, you lose position. So
yeah, it's a really tough position to be in.
I just don't see that 1-2. Ooh, okay. I was excited to see that 1-2-2 pin being a shape that we ever discard, but maybe we can use them all. No, because the very last tile, that last
will draw.
And we flip an Eridora too. Very nice. For Sakayori. I don't think it's going to be enough, as you say, to get into first, but this is still a huge win for Team Maze Bar. And almost from the sumo payment, a 4th place for Kamo, but not quite. She keeps it just a little bit with a score of 0 points going into the end of the game.
Yeah, 100-point difference. Look at that. Minus 50.1 and 40.0.
Yeah, oh, poor Sara. She looks so sad. Oh. 3rd and 4th both looked like they had a bit of a sad time. Oh.
Yeah, that was really rough for both of them at the end there. The positioning. I mean, I know whenever I'm sitting there, it's just like, like
yes,
just despair, utter despair. That's what we're looking for there.
But there are still 5 games left for that. They can still maybe make something come around. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Depending on how things are. But for the next game, we are both getting replaced, I believe, with Nathanael.
Yeah, before we do that, I wanted to mention that the name of the Fuji Cup, the Yukan Fuji Cup, is going to be changing. I think I said we could say it a couple times, yeah. So we'll mention it again at the end of the broadcast, but next month when you're looking for the Yukan Fuji Cup, it's going to be called the Sankei Shimbun Cup. So keep that in mind. Most of the display will be very similar, but we do have to change the name because Yukan Fuji is a newspaper, they call it sports shimbun, so sports newspaper, like kind of a gossip column, a tabloid kind of thing. Tabloid, I guess is what they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a subsidiary of Sankei Shimbun. So Sankei Shimbun is actually like a bigger and more prestigious newspaper. So it's actually a really cool sponsorship. And it might actually end up changing which teams and stuff we have in the competition next year, but we will finish this season up as the Sankei Shimbun Cup starting next broadcast in February, end of February.
Oh, how exciting. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Like, especially if you say more teams and things like that next year, perhaps? Ooh.
Maybe fewer, actually, but...
maybe fewer, but like...
That could mean that we see more teams on broadcast more often. So I don't know. We'll have to see how what happens, but should be still really interesting tournament and fun tournament.
Does sound very exciting. All right.
And we'll welcome in our A1 leaguers, Nathanael, who is going to WRC in July.
Ray.
And the new member of our team, Harrison, I think second or third time on the stream now.
Yep, second or third. The one who's not going to WRC, you can say it. It's okay.
Well,
I might not be either, so.
There's a chance. I said, are you going to the World Riichi League, Harrison? Because that's a last shot qualifier.
about to say, there's
I
still a
would
chance.
love to. Unfortunately, I did not sign up within the 3 hours the New York one was available. So securing the trip to Chicago, believe me, I'm looking into it. But we'll have to see how it plays out. That is definitely going to be a very exciting event, though.
Yeah,
Nathaniel, are you gonna be playing?
I will be playing in the Chicago event.
Oh,
Very
nice.
excited. I saw a couple names that I'm really excited to compete against again. Namely, the winner of the North American Open is going to be there, and a transplant of California, who's also a mathematician, is going to be there. The math crew is getting back together. So I'm very excited to play in the Chicago version of the tournament. But Harrison, maybe we'll do some type of player exchange. You come down to Chicago for World Riichi League, and I'll go up to DC for the DC Open.
Maybe
sounds
that's a
very
tempting
fair.
offer.
That does sound very
tempting
good.
offer.
Extremely fair. Also, the World Riichi League is going to be the kickoff for the World Reach Pros.
Hmm.
Apparently, we'll have more details about that soon. But I think there'll be some familiar names on that list as well as going into that. So, all right. I'll let you guys introduce the players and everything, but I did want to mention that the defending champion of the individual race, Rei Kawakami, is going to be playing the next 2 games. So, should be exciting matches.
Very good. We'll have a lot to look forward to. Thank you again.
I'll be watching with interest. So yeah.
Super thanks to
Alright.
Jenn and Chiral for the commentary. Excellent. As always enjoy listening to the two of you discuss what's happening in the game. And Harrison, you and I will have, as promised, a very exciting set of players. Just as a reminder for those of you who are just tuning in, these are the teams for tonight's games: Team Bar Watch, Maze Bar, DT Studio, and Mahjong Nyao. And we can hop into the players.
Yeah, this is looking to be quite the exciting lineup we have for this next game. I believe in the East seat, unless I am mistaken, we have Mei Takashima from the Nihon Pro Mahjong Association, while their team, I think, is in the lead, yes, of these 4. She's also 14th overall in the standings at plus 179.9 with a lot of games. So a very good performance here could very well propel her to that top upper echelon, however you want to say it, for the individual standings. Then Eri Shibata is playing for Mahjong Nyao Kanai. They will be in the south seat. Again, assuming I got this right. Nope, west seat.
West seat.
Can't read. So they will be in the west seats. For Bar Watch, we have Shiori Hasegawa. That is going to be the south seat for real this time. They are plus 23.2 in the overall. Can always have a plus 100 game just around the corner. I swear, just queue up for one more game. That's what I always tell myself. And then Rei Kawakami, who Jenn was mentioning, who was the defending champion for the individual standings last year. Doesn't seem to be having quite the run that they were having last year. But starting in the north seat for this game, starting in the north seat, they got a lot of time to make things work. They had some big sumos, run up the East dealership. You never know what happens.
And certainly, as individual champion, we'll be eagerly looking to see the style of play coming out from her. But this lineup is very exciting to take a look at, and the game will be starting very soon. Tiles come up, initial hands will be built. And for the East, the first dealer, Mei Takashima, she's actually the owner of Maze Bar, the team.
The namesake.
So,
yeah.
Along with her great start to the season, hopefully she gets to continue that. Her favorite tile is the 7 months, so we'll see if her initial set of tiles pulls in any of those. Looks like we are missing 7 months.
Yeah. But, better to win on the favorite tile than to keep it in the high pie, right?
That's very true. We'll see an initial door of the 2 mon, and also missing from this hand, but great shapes. I'd be very happy with that as the dealer. in the south seat. Hasegawa is also lacking the Dora. Same can be said for Shibata, but she opens up with the triplet of the White Dragon and a pair of the East. So this could be an interesting hand to play. Certainly callable.
Yeah, pair of 5-mons and 7 and 7 as well, excuse me. So chi toys on the menu, as well as just crazy toys, double yakuhai, very flexible, strong hand.
Yeah, and typically with 2 Yakuhai, I'm always thinking about Honitsu, the flush as an option, and also Toy as an option there. As you mentioned, there are a couple pairs in that hand, so definitely, depending on the draws, we could see some serious value. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a slow hand, and of course, one of the things I'm going to be watching out for is East. What happens when the East gets discarded? Will Shibata declare the pawn immediately, or will she be patient and try to build into something closed?
Yeah, I would think with a hand like that, the East not being called would be kind of a pretty clear denominator of Chitoid. But as we see her cut the 5 on there, it seems like it's going to be just full Honitsu. I imagine the East gets snap called. There'll be even some aggressive cheese called just to really finish that Honitsu. Could be Mangan if the East is able to be called.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the 5-mon cut really indicates that Toy is into consideration. We're not going for triplets. And there's that East. Out it comes. Insta call.
Shimon drops, yep. Snap call. It's kind of not the best shapes left behind, but I mean, you have the Anko, the concealed triplet of the Haku. You do have some strong kind of upper Sozu. You draw like a 2-so around that 3-so, and you're right there.
Yeah, technically only 2 away from Tempai, so the shapes are there. Just needs a little bit of improvement. That's a great central tile, and Hasegawa will cut away from the Sozu, even though it's a little bit clear that that's the suit that Shibata's aiming for. Hasegawa, as the player to the left, can definitely, help that out in a little bit by discarding Sozu, but that first tile won't be called, so that's a great start, a promising start.
Interesting decision here. Hasegawa's going to have to decide. Could have cut either that 6-8 Kanchan or the 1-3. The 1-3 takes the Dora 2-mon. The 6-8 is the Honitsu suit for the player next to you, so that could be a bit dangerous. Just decides to cut the 4-5, says it's kind of a little bit redundant. Don't necessarily need 2 of them. I'll just aim for 1.
Although as she improves with the 6-0 draw, that 8-0 was a tile that Shibata really, really, really wanted, and so we'll be very happy to get that call. And now 2 calls in, you definitely have to be a lot more concerned about discarding Sozu.
Yeah, especially when the Chun was the one dropped. I think there's only 1 on the board. No, there were 2 on the board, so that could very well be kind of a safe tile being kept as a last resort, so that players are definitely going to be a little bit scared of Tempai, I'd imagine, here.
Some consideration now as dealers approaching Tempai. Can accept Dora as well. Well, now maybe a Takashima shift available. Draw 4-mon.
Oh, great draw. Although I will say that draw for Shibata does kind of hurt your Mangan chances. It kind of encourages you to drop away from that Haku.
I just happened to glance at the player cam as Takashima drew that Haku. She just looked directly across at Shibata. It's like, I'll jam this. Drop the Haku. No con, of course. There's a good chance that the Haku actually leaves Shibata's hand once she finds Tempai.
Oh, and now decision time. Can we brave the 8 and 9? So Takashima, it's a much likelier win out, and she does brave it. It's going to end up getting rewarded because the 8 and 9, especially that 9, is looking very safe against Shibata.
Definitely, it's hard to push bamboo tiles right now, but she does not believe it's Tempai, even going to the 3rd row. At the very least, if it is Tempai, that it's not going to be the biggest punish because, Takashima is the dealer. She has a lot of incentive to fight for this hand, and if she can pull it at Dora, that would be amazing. Kawakami has been holding these 2 Dora, trying to get it to work out, but still not Tempai.
Yeah, everybody kind of stuck in E Shanten right now. No one's able to find their way out. Everyone's got like very strong calls for it, but just can't close the distance.
Yeah, this also misses. There is a small option to cut 9-pin, 6-pin here and shift to the Tanya, but you just lose too much efficiency, I think. So
Yeah, you also, I think you get pawn calls too on those to kind of help you give you one extra K10 out or a play for Tempai at draw.
okay, could
Some
again
interesting.
thinking about whether to
Cut
call.
maybe 4-pin, 5-pin.
Right, depends on how scared you are of the tiles near the door this late. Perhaps someone's holding a
Yeah.
diamond.
Oh,
Another
who's gonna
shift down.
operate? No.
Shibata has pushed the Tuso to the right side of the hand. This way, it's very easy for her to make a call into Tempai without showing too much. And there's the Tempai.
Oh, and Tempai with a Riichi too. Look at that.
After a door draw, so fantastic pull. And now the table.
6-pin. It's dealer reach. It's scary.
Absolutely. I was going to really think about this. How much does she want to push against a dealer Riichi? 3-mon.
2-pin, you could argue Sotagawa with that early 3-pin discard, but again, that's not guaranteed. And you got to think the dealer's got a reason for reaching with one draw left.
We saw at the tail end of the last game a Sotagawa trap. Oh, and there's another 2-mon. Actually,
Around little bomb diffuse.
Yeah, had door pair. Could have thought about calling that, but okay, 1-mon. Finally, Tempai found, and Haku will come out.
Tempai, the Haku's safe, yeah.
No call for Tempai from Kawakami, so we'll just fold away, and it is Tempai for 2 players. Dealer.
Yep.
We'll repeat.
Yeah, honestly, what a very exciting hand. That kind of one of those where no one is able to complete their kind of their big win they're aiming for. That Honitsu that gets snap called, left in Tempai, Takashima's Riichi with the Dora, just not able to get there quick enough. Kind of the same with Hasegawa too.
Yeah,
and Kawakami.
I do agree. I think the story of this hand was just how long it took from to get to Tempai. Had those Riichis come out sooner, I think is a much better chance.
Very explosive.
Exactly. Harder for players to defend. Shibata would have had a lot more decisions to make with her Honitsu push. But we go one more time. Takashima with already 2 blocks completed. 2-pin Dora is not in hand.
Yeah, Hasegawa with a couple pairs has the Hatsu, the Green Dragons, to try and clean it up, but hand's not the fastest. Can opt for a Chitoi. I mean, it looks like solid Pinfu hands for Shibata and Kawakami too.
Tanya play as well. Hasegawa opening up with the Green Dragon.
Yeah, wants the points in the middle, wants to get Takashima off dealership.
An extra 1,300 points from the Riichi stick and the Honba is nothing to sneeze at in the early portion of this game. That's about the equivalent of the 1,500 that you paid out at the end of the last hand. So
Takashima hits a huge draw, though. I believe we're Ishanten, though.
It is Ishanten. No pair really in the hand.
Yeah, it could make it a little bit awkward, but enough floaters mean, maybe one of them hits the right way. You get a nice little reach pinfu.
I have to note, Shibata picked up a fantastic 2-pin draw to fill a 1-3-pin Kanchan shape. The middle weight completed, which is really important because the 2-pin was missing. So many of the 2-pins had already been held, and now she has a serious chance at winning this hand. The last 2-pin drawn here by Kawakami.
Imagine we'll see something like 7-pin come out. Yep.
Yeah, pretty straightforward hand for Kawakami to play. A little overblocked, so there will be some decisions to make as to which blocks are superior. Oh, and a nice pull for Shibata as well. Ishanten now, one away from Tempai.
Ooh.
Now we get that decision time.
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer is 1-so here, right? You play 6 blocks, and then you hope to cut 1-3 in a second.
Head towards the Tanya route. And if you do happen to fill the 2-so, you're happy. You're going to give yourself that option, but better Ishanten now.
Oh, great.
Perfect
Upgrades to the perfect pinfu, or the guaranteed pinfu. I guess not on 9 mantra, but
coming out Ishanten as well. Also super wide Ishanten for Takashima. So the players are doing it again this time. They're all
Yep.
It went away around the same time. Can we get an early Tempai this time, or will we have to wait till row 3? We won't have to wait
Oh,
long.
Tempai number 1.
Dama.
No Riichi. We find Tempai and we're going to snap call on the 8-pin Tonki.
And not
Surely
waiting,
better weight than the 6.
not waiting for an upgraded weight or upgraded value. Just going to snap the Riichi out there and make the rest of the table sweat.
Again, dealer Riichi, you gotta respect it. Oh, and now can we push the 5 mon? We're brave. No follow-up with a Riichi, though, for Kawakami.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Perhaps just no door in hand. There are a couple value improvements. You can draw the 6 mon for, I guess, not just Tanyo. She also can cut the other side and aim for Sanchoku even. So maybe that's what the goal is.
Now we're going to see a tank from Shibata. Decides to jam it, though. Works out.
It's not as if
Misuchi on the 5-pin. Something.
If 4-so or 7-so is in the dealer's discards, you might consider holding the silent Tempai to try to snipe that tile, but okay, it's 3 mon, too much to push.
I mean, if you're going to push 5 Ishanten, I would think no, but it looks like, yeah, we'll play it a little bit safer. We'll do that 2-pin Genbutsu that's in the discards. Which it is a good Mawashi route, because you drop 2-pin, 2-pin, and then you're at where's Ishanten, because you kind of have 3 mon as your pair, and then 4 or 5 mon that you got to fill in.
And the 6 mon itself is an excellent draw towards the Sanchoku Piku.
Yeah. Ooh, second Dora. That's a little bit murky. That's weird. Maybe you trust 9 mon, 9 mon? Although I don't think there's another 9 mon.
If it wasn't Dora, I think she would just discard it. But
yeah,
it's gonna try to play to use the Dora now. You know, you always worry that some type of Dora Shampon or Dora Tonki weight. It is a Tonki weight, but Hasegawa holding 2 of the 8-pins. Oh, and that was our other route to being able to use the Dora, was to draw the 1-pin or 4-pin. Unfortunately, we've already decided to cut the 3-2 as a safe path to being able to use that second Dora. It's a slight little backfire there, but in the face of dealer Riichi, I feel like this hand is just going to fold out now.
Yeah. Oh, but we're going to fight for Sanshoku Nomi for Kawakami. Well, I guess also Tempai payments at the end of the round.
Right.
We do win on 4-so discard.
That will be the hope here, as there are now 2 Riichi sticks in a home buy, even if it's just a 1,000-point hand.
I think all the 4s are being held, and I doubt they come out. Oh, last 8 does get drawn.
What a pull. Just Riichi, Tsumo, Tanyao will be the 2,000 all plus an extra 100 from all the players. And she collects the 2 Riichi sticks that she sent out there, so fantastic. Last 8-pin pulled in by the dealer. We'll see another repeat.
Yeah, not a bad start at all if you're a Takashima. Again, she is 14th overall, so this is, not a major lead by any sense of the word, but definitely a good starting motion.
Yeah, we noted at the end of, I guess, a stream last week that if you make it into the top 7 spots, you get an automatic bid into the quarterfinals of the individual playoffs. So if you're in the 14th place, that's great, but you're going to have to play your way in. And she really would like to get into the top 7s, starting out in the lead here and retaining the dealership. This looks like a fast hand for Kawakami.
Yeah, North Yakuhai too, so could even call it down just to try and take Takashima off dealership.
Door 7-pin. We'll see players holding their 8-pin connectors for a while. Normally, Shibata might consider holding the 6 mon, but of course the 8-pin is a door connector, so that increases the value of holding onto that tile. And there's a door itself. Great pull in for Hasegawa.
I'll help the value. She's going to keep that second 8-pin too, just in case like another Dora, or maybe even another 9-pin is found. Try and chase 2 Dora, increase that hand value, especially while you have those Yakuhais, those Winds and Dragons that aren't really doing much in your hand.
Last turn we saw Kawakami pull in the 7 so to fill out that
Oof.
7-8-9, and she's looking strong for not just an open hand now. I think she'll probably try to stay close to Riichi.
Yeah. Riichi Yakuhai for sure. Just seems too good not to, especially when you're on a Ryoncon in the 2-4-6
Unfortunate
and
backfire.
4-5. Yeah, happens.
It's, of course, the natural decisions led us to this point. Ishanten also for Shibata, but her weight is not going to be good. In fact, it's going to be confirmed to be poor. Ooh, that door draw is excellent. Now, do we play the 3-mon or do we play the 2-4?
I think technically the 3-mon is a higher chance of drawing 2 Tempai. I think the Ukeire, the upgrade in Shanten chance is slightly better. But I would personally go 4-pin, 2-pin.
Yeah, although the
I'm
draws to
too scared.
Tempai are better, some of those Tempai involve discarding the Dora and waiting on her bad weight. So
yeah,
choosing to instead confirm the door in hand. 1-so is actually a really interesting keep, because if she fills out the pin shape, she could choose to wait on a Tonki 1-so after cutting 2-so, 3-so at the start. It would be so sneaky.
Yeah. No 1-so's on the board yet, though. That's always the thing that kind of pushes me away from it. When there's one on the board, people are like, oh, okay, the chances are much lower. But when none are on the board, people tend to take notice and kind of create a fear where there might not necessarily be one.
And I know, Harrison, you are a player that tends to sort of get a read on the table and how people are playing and make your decisions based off of that.
Yeah.
And I know in game 1, players were pretty defensive against Riichi's. They were not pushing hard against that, and they might have folded a 1-so, 1-so pair, or even a 1-so triplet, just for safety reasons. But we don't quite have the read yet in this table. Not enough hands.
And a Tempai there, I believe, on 9-so.
It does have a
Has
Yaku.
has Ipeko, that pure double straight. So not going to reach it just yet. Says we got something better than 9-so we can wait on, or at least if I'm going to win on that, might as well just make sure I collect the points in the middle.
I believe the red dragon was twice cut, so not the best Tonki weight, single pair weight.
South pair. That is going to be Tempai. We're going to reach. We're on the Dora.
7
Shitoi
pairs.
Dora too. Yeah.
And here's your improvement. It's not fantastic. The 2,
2-5 is not great.
We'll just hold the Dama.
Ooh, gonna check it. I like the check. I don't know if I would reach you that. It's such a tough call to make.
Well, Takashima is not afraid. As the dealer, going to wait on the 2-5. It's actually a little interesting. There are so few 2 pins left. I think 3 are discarded already.
God, Shibata is so sneaky. Just still maintaining this Tempai. Tonki on the 8-so right now, just needing to fill that pair. Oh, 4 is not a good weight, though, and it is not a good discard. Yeah, and we're going to see a tank on it. Probably debating on whether or not it's still worth it to try to push against these Riichis.
Plays out the 3-so instead.
It's technically a Mawashi. You could find 6 for Tempai. Or even 7-so for Tempai. But then you got to check that 8 still.
Oh, and there's the last red dragon. Kawakami still in his hand. Ishanten. Oh, and the 7. All these draws are coming in the wrong way.
You can't drop the 5. Yeah, and Shibata's just out. It says it's not worth it. It's way too dangerous.
Oh, and this is what I really wanted to see, that last 2-pin draw. So if Takashima had stayed Dama 10, we could have seen this 2-pin come out easily, but chose to Riichi here.
Yeah. Kawakami's not buying. Says, not for me.
If it was one of the other players, perhaps it might have still come out, but Kawakami has 3 save tiles in hand, so she doesn't need to shove this.
We will see the 4 that I believe just passed. So my eyes are going dreary. So I mean, who is it? Shibata, yeah, still kind of feels like she wants to find a tenpai, but this late in, it feels tough. It feels real tough.
Yeah, notably no tiles in the wall left for Takashima. At the Dora, I think...
I believe the door is completely held. I may be wrong on that.
We, of course, know the one in her hand. There's one here in Kawakami's hand. Looks like she can make a little bit of a play for things. 9-pin.
Oh,
And
okay.
if she gets a tenpai, the 2-pin could
But
come out.
yeah. Oh wait, is there 2 doors still on the wall?
Yeah, the door is still live.
Oh wow.
So finally can leave this hand.
Not quite tenpai. Yep, and just our 2 Riichi players tenpai.
So surprisingly live, that Chitoi hand. And so far, it's really been a 2-player game. Takashima, the dealer, and well, Shibata has been threatening, has held tenpai a couple times, but not gotten the win.
Yeah, Shibata really got pushed away again. I wonder if an early reach would have changed how Hasegawa decided to play that hand. Because I believe they did have Pinfu, so they could have maybe tried to play a bit more passively against the Riichis. Maybe Shibata
Oh, wow.
could have snuck out like that 8 or something. And this high pie looks
It's
incredible.
gorgeous. It's got double east. It's got completed shapes in the Pinzu
In the
and the Manzu.
In the Pinzu, it's got proto runs, so the Pinzu could very easily spread out to 2. The Manzu is already 2; it could be 3. That is looking like the hand to lose at this point.
Definitely huge advantage for Takashima. Hasegawa in the south seat does have south pair and reasonable shapes, but really it just doesn't. It doesn't seem like
compare to dealer. It's hard to beat out.
Once you're this close to tenpai, it takes a little bit longer for your other shapes to fill in. Usually,
yeah.
The tiles of acceptance you have are a lot more limited. So this is a spot where Takashima could stall out. Also,
oh, and that's a great pickup for Hasegawa. Hasegawa might be in fighting condition. Wow, Shibata too with a huge pickup there.
Oh yes, not
the prettiest way, but
misread the hand. It had already gotten to Shibata's hand with the south pair.
Yeah, and Kawakami just looks way too slow to deal with this.
Ishanten for dealer.
Poof. Oh, another good pair pickup. A little bit more flexibility, a couple more options, especially for the end weight.
Close, nope, but no Sanzo. Also, the dealer's hand can use the Dora 6, and that is Ishanten now for Hasegawa.
Yeah, potentially a reach Pinfu. Would have to hit 5 mon to get that end weight though. Takashima missed again. Takashima is not doing well at the quick go from 2 Shanten to Ishanten. Or go from 2 Shanten to Ishanten to Tenpai.
Yeah, it did.
Like, gets the Ishanten just like that, but then that last draw is just struggling to get there.
It's so wide, though. There's so many draws to Tenpai.
Yeah.
Like, you can draw pairs for the Shampoo East, and then whatever your other pair happens to be, you can draw a Diamond weight.
Great pickup for Shibata. Ishanten on a Pinfu to fight.
It can be hard when you're in this spot as Takashima to just sit there and do nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you think your hand should have a severe advantage, but then it doesn't do anything, and someone else declares Riichi, and you might be inclined to fight, even though it's not necessarily the best spot to do so, just because you've had this overarching feeling this entire hand that your hand was the best.
Yeah. I really like the decision by Shibata, too, in order to kind of keep the Doras floating.
Okay,
and Takashima.
Gonna go for the Pinfu route.
Yeah, it doesn't trust the East, but they were just both buried in the wall. But again, if nobody's seen them this late, then why is that? Probably a reason for it.
Yeah, actually, we did see an... we did see Shibata cut away from the south pair. as well. So no one's holding their wind pairs in this hand.
Yep. Everyone's kind of chasing that value, which this does feel like a game where everybody's chasing to get to Tenpai first. And the first person to get that big explosive win feels like they're going to have a major advantage on this table.
Yeah, and even a medium-sized hand here is still going to be pretty strong with 2 Riichi 6 and 3 Honba. And by the way, when we get to Hasegawa's hand, I want to point out that 6-mon discard. I love it. Not only is it efficient, but it also gives us a chance at 2-3 Sanchoku. With the 3-mon draw! Slamming the 1-so Riichi. 1 pin is good, Riichi Pinfu, but 4 pin is so much better. You get Tanyo and the Sanchoku for an extra 300.
And unless my eyes deceive me, there's only 1 pin left in the wall. So 1 pin is on high demand. That being said, 4 pins are also not looking great.
2
are held up.
Once discarded.
By Kawakami, yeah.
A last one held here as well. So, okay, maybe the Sanchoku not very live. Maybe the entire weight's not very live. But will players fight against this?
Ooh, it looks like Kawakami's backing up. Kawakami was making good progress on the hand, but again, against these monster Ishan-tens, hard to fight too much.
Oh, the 1 pin. There's 2 door in this hand, so
the
Shibata
last
will fight.
one. Oh, and doesn't like the 8-so as much. Normally, that'll do it, but 1 pin ends up being lethal. We had the Uradora for a Riichi Pinfu Dora. 39 plus 39. Or 39 plus 29, excuse me.
Yeah. 2 Riichi 6 back, an extra 900 will come from the dealing player, so it's like, oh, catching up now to the leader, Takashima, will also get the dealership in East 2. Central Dora, 6 pin now.
Yeah, very easy one to use in. And as we see, Hasegawa has the pair of the green dragons to call. And honestly, pretty good shapes around it, too.
Yeah, this is one of those hands that even though you have the Yakuhide pair, you don't necessarily open up. Excuse me?
Goodness. Okay, what was that call on South, right? And there was also East and Chun in hand and 9-so. All paired up, so we could very well be looking at a Honroto in the making.
This could be fantastic.
Oh, okay. Well, we got ourselves something interesting. Kawakami's sitting there trying to build a normal hand. I wonder when other players are going to start to really ring the alarm bells of what is happening across the table. Interesting, not deciding to keep the pair there for Takashima. Just wants to play, I believe that was the efficiency discard. Khan, little ambitious, I would think, right now. And so does Shibata. Yeah, so does Shibata, but still keeps it to give it an option later.
Very, very exciting, this hand.
God, Haku pair 2 from Takashima. We're sitting here at Ishan-ten. Good hand, too, for Hasegawa, but now Shibata's twice open, and all of a sudden, things are looking kind of weird.
Yeah, as expected, though, the dealer Hasegawa did not call the green dragon when it came out.
Yep. Wants to play for the value. It seems to be that it's been a much more kind of defensive, or not as open table, too, so...
Oh, Toy.
Dealer Riichi's getting respected. Yeah, looks like Toy.
And Kawakami had drawn in the door as well, so now she has a reason to fight, especially if you can draw around that 3-so.
Ooh. And a good pickup, I believe, were Ishan-ten. Not the best end weights for Takashima.
One of those spots where you could cut away from one of your pairs if you're the dealer, but you really just want to draw the 2-mon or 5-mon and slam Riichi with potentially Peiko. Small upgrade here.
Close. Not exactly what we're looking for, but something.
Hasegawa has to consider in that spot whether or not she wants to wait on the Champon North and like 3-mon. And if you're not willing to do that, if you do the 5-mon, then you just throw it back.
Kawakami gets Tenpai on a Riichi Pinfu Dora, waiting on 3 6-mon.
Very smoothly into Tenpai there.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow, and Hasegawa is just shoving. Or maybe that was Genbutsu, actually. Never mind, I believe that was Genbutsu.
Yeah, three
That's why
still.
that 7-mon was put so confidently down.
Still only a couple tiles away from Tenpai. I'm not convinced that Takashima really wants to take this fight, given that she's in the lead. But depends on the draws. Oh, Dora, that's going to freeze this hand.
Potentially. Oh, showing it to the camera. Reach Pinfusumo Dora.
1326 will shut down Hasegawa's first time as the dealer. Also, that very exciting hand for Shibata. Never ended up having to throw the Dora out. So, going into East 3, we'll have Shibata in the dealer seat. And currently in last, but has had some really exciting chances. And maybe this is finally going to be her turn to win one.
Yeah, Shibata does feel like she's just right there every single time.
Opens up with the red dragon pair. However, nothing else in the hand looks pretty.
Yeah. That'll be a see it row 2 type of hand. Get rid of all the junk sitting around and then see what we got left over.
Takashima opens up with the
Ooh.
triplet of green dragon. Slightly better shapes than the dealer had, but not by much.
Yeah.
Notably Dora West, a little bit tricky to use that Dora.
Oh, but for Kawakami is going to decide just to throw it now.
Yeah, just
Keep the
Ishant that
efficiency.
already. That's
Yeah.
fantastic opening. And she's right about starting value right now, starting points. So this could be a really quick Riichi win to send her to the top.
Yeah, could potentially, even with a dealership left too, just kind of snap call the Haku for Tenpai and just try and get that quick 1,000 point hand. The game's still so close that like you're not even at a huge disadvantage cheaping out.
Yeah, we saw earlier Hasegawa pass on the Dragon Call, even as the dealer, to aim for Riichi instead. And I suspect Kawakami will do the same, because this is just a gorgeous one away. Also, the white dragon has come out once already.
Oh, it did. You're right. Yeah, so I guess just really trying to chase that value, trying to be the first one to make that big jump forward.
Yeah, and although given the fact that it's once cut, maybe when the second one comes out, we just take it.
Yeah. Could even here has an option to cut the white dragon fish for another 6-pin or 9-pin, but decides just to cut the 6-pin.
Yeah, I kind of already made that decision with the 7-pin cut earlier. Oh, Riichi from Hasegawa. Did not see this one coming out. A beautiful middle tile fill-in with the 4-mon pull. Kawakami is going to be a little bit late here. He's going to have to play around this with the Haku Haku. Oh, and of course, just in time, Takashima draws the third one.
Ooh. It's a good little fill-in for Takashima.
Oh, Kawakami's right back, pulls in an alternate pair candidate. Tenpai. No Riichi.
Takashima looking for it.
These players are speedy in this game. We saw some somewhat deliberate play in the last game, but these players very confident with their decisions. Takashima silently waiting on the 7-pin because that was the Riichi tile of Hasegawa, so it's definitely safe to the Riichi. Takashima doesn't need to risk anything though here in first place. We'll just hope to sneakily steal that away. Oh, now you get a weight improvement.
5-pin's interesting. 8-pin is not the best tile, but it's also not the worst tile.
And I can't see if the...
Could also potentially do Nakatsuchi 4-pin.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And she definitely was considering that, spending her time to make that decision, but goes with the wider weight. And the 4-pin, as you said, Nakatsuchi, it's in between the 1-pin and the 7-pin that were discarded.
Oh, and that is Tenpai, a couple options. We are going to drop the green dragon to a on 3-pin, 6-pin, only having Yaku on the 6-pin though.
Yeah, notably not declaring the Riichi here still. Trying to find a safe way to steal this hand away. without risking anything. Or risking too much. I guess the 8-pin was a little bit of a jam. Sakayori really looking for the 1 and 4 mon. That is a tempai.
Oh.
And yeah, I'm not surprised at all. Say Riichi. And now we go back to the back to Takashima, who will not chase. Just calmly play out the 2-pin.
Well, again, it doesn't really fit in her hand, right? So she's able to play it for free. Doesn't have to make too many decisions just yet. This one will be the important one. Oh, never mind. Another Genbutsu. Call that a wall blessing.
1 mon, 4 mon versus 2 mon, 5 mon versus 3-pin, 6-pin.
Yeah, everybody's kind of holding all these Monzus against each other, so tiles are far and few between for the winners.
3-pin.
I believe all the 5s are gone. 2s are bad. I think all the 1s are gone.
Okay, finally time to think.
That one's a little tough versus the last Riichi.
Very easy to go Green Dragon, pair cut, and then try to find your way back to Tempai. You can still chi a 3-pin or a 6-pin into Tempai. Oh, and of course, just then the 6 comes out.
Yeah. That's how it always goes. It'll only come out the second you have to make a concerning push for it. Oh, and the sumo comes anyway.
And that's huge. Kawakami stealing this hand away. It's just a Riichi Tsumo, but it picks up 2 Riichi sticks. And Takashima will have to pay out some of those points. So that means that first place will be really close. And, you know, it always plays in the back of your hand. Man, if I just held the Tempai, the 3-so didn't deal into one hand, but would have dealt into the other. And you won't know until the game ends.
Yep.
Kawakami now very close to first place, and she has the dealership.
Not the best high pie either. Not terrible, but needs a little bit of work with it. Yeah, it could importantly get the Itsu with the Sozu, especially in the Dora suit, could be a good threat, but remains to be seen how quick everybody else is. Looks like Takashima had the East pair, could potentially call and go there.
Kawakami is really going to want to use this 1-2-so shape, given the 1-so Dora. And we will, in a second, see Hasegawa's hand, also with a 1-so that is having trouble fitting into these shapes, but if she pairs it up, she'll be thrilled. Shibata with a lot of pairs, could be thinking about Chitoi or some type of flush.
A little bit of a decision here from Kawakami.
The hand is
5 mon comes out.
It's 1 away, but the decision here is to choosing which floating tile to keep. Because if you connect to the floating tile in a good way, with a double-sided way, you might consider cutting the Dora Penchon. 1-2-so shape.
Shibata is going to kind of commit towards a likelier Honitsu route. Going to cut that 8-9 of Pinzu. May not get to Honitsu at the end, but higher chance the hand does. Getting rid of a Penchon like that.
Shibata moving closer and closer to having only Mon tiles in her hand. Characters abound.
Ooh, an Ishanten here. A lot of fun options for some value.
Notably cutting
with 1 East out.
The 4-so first, just in case she drew the Dora, but now just Tempai.
Yep. Just wants those quick points, keep everybody cheap. Everybody close, nothing too exciting happening.
I love that smooth maneuver from Shibata. Swapping the tiles, the rightmost tile and the tile next to it. One-handed, of course. Very cool.
Ooh, shooting pair. And now Dora pair. We have a bit of a decision. We're going to drop the 2-so. Well, the problem is if you end up on 1-so, 9-so as a Riichi, it does not look very good on this board. Although everybody has to dodge 5-8 pin, and here's that situation I was talking about. Now we're going to reach it 1-so, 9-so.
Yeah,
Problem is, One-So's Dora not on the board, and Nine-So, one of the two are left in the wall.
Takashima fortunate that she had a 5-mon that was Genbutsu to the Riichi. Otherwise, like this hand is really threatening. Kawakami also fortunate to be able to use the 5-pin in her hand and actually get this Riichi off. The issue is you never expect to see a One-So come out.
Yeah. How many more in the wall? What can I really do with them? What are my draw chances? There's still that pesky little 9-So hiding in there too. Yeah, Hasegawa looks like they're trying to find a reason to fight a little bit, but
Nope, the
not the
8-pin.
closest hand.
Takashima did not draw enough dangerous tiles to fold away from this Tenpai, and that will allow her to steal the win away. Collects the East only, but gets the Riichi stick back from Kawakami. And also a direct hit means that her gap is a little bit wider now. That will send us quickly into the South rounds. Takashima back in the dealer seat.
Yeah, this is going to be a very pivotal round. If Takashima, I think, gets one big hand here, then that is a pretty good sealant for first, I would think, with how the kind of table is going. Especially already with this very small lead that she's at. She can break away a little bit more. That's almost a first secured.
It's a bit of a dogfight for the other placements. The
Yeah.
Saipai, though, not super strong just yet. It's got good floating tiles, and that means that a lot of her draws will be useful, but we'll take drawing those tiles to actually make improvements. Hasegawa did pull in the door as her first draw, but has a lot of work to do as well. No one with a really tremendously fast hand, except for maybe Kawakami with the backbone of an Itsu, a full straight in the characters.
Yeah, very likely kind of pinfu shape too. So definitely some options on how much value to chase with it. Although I'd imagine with how the players are playing that they will opt to try and Riichi, not to be too aggressive and fast and open.
Oh, some choices to be made now. One-So pair cut will move us in the direction of a tateniu. Seems like a classic maneuver.
Keep it a little bit easier to get that win up. Just prioritize win rate and try to get a wrench on, a repeat as a dealer. Ooh, and a 5-mon, that'll help too.
All these draws are making very small improvements, but not really completing any shapes. And now we're hitting the end of row 1.
Nobody else has been able to find too much, although that is a good hit for Kawakami.
Alternate pair, perhaps, that allows you to use Adora more efficiently.
Oh, same thing you were talking about. Little hit that, kind of small improvement to help the tateniu, but doesn't actually fix a shape.
Yeah, all these pairs keep grouping up in the hand. You really don't want to end up with 7 pairs, but that might just be the direction the hand is moving. She does slim down one more block, which means her shapes are going to be super fixed by the time we hit the middle of the second row. That does limit the tiles that you can accept into your hand.
Oh, wow. And throwing the 9-So back was not something that I expected from Kawakami. I would have thought you were supposed to have kept that, but perhaps either a very good read that the 8-Sos are hard to get, or kind of prioritizing a very high value route where you go almost Chinitsu.
Yeah, maybe
in the Manzu.
Another pair drawn. That's 7 pairs Ishanten for Takashima. She can also call. There are toy chances as well. Unfortunately for Kawakami, a large number of Montaus are also being held around the table. So
yeah, it'll make it quite hard if she does decide to full commit to Chinitsu. That being said, you draw like a Dora 3-pin, and most likely you'll just play a Manzu and then a 2-3 pin, waiting on a 1 or 4 pin.
Even if you're moving in the direction of the flush, so you start by cutting one of the 2 pins and then draw a 3 pin, you can still backtrack.
Yeah.
At some point, though, it becomes too hard to push out that 2-pin, given its proximity to the Dora.
Yeah, especially near the end of second row. Now's where you might start getting goosebumps. Oh, and another pair up.
So awkward. We just discarded a pair, and now we pulled in another one.
It's going to do the 9. Are we going to see the call? Oh, we are. Kawakami's going for it. Could even just drop the West, play for K10. Nope, we're going for it all. 2 pins out. Don't need them. Our hand is one thing and one thing only, and that is filled with Manzu.
And now
that is all we need.
As the dealer. Okay, we're going to see the second 9 and a Chi, of course. He shot 10 for the flush. Away.
Yep. I mean, if you get a 4-mon, when mons are sneaky, you might be able to catch somebody with it. There's none available on the board, so might sound alarms for some people. But now you have players like Hasegawa who have to think, I probably have to cut Manzu. Which one am I comfortable cutting? And the answer is none of them, so now I got to back up a whole shape.
Indeed, and Shibata's probably done cutting Manzu as well, so this open play from Kawakami is going to freeze the rest of the table. However, she does need to actually draw into Tenpai herself. Takashima is not going to find it easy to collect Mon tiles now.
Ooh, drawing back into it on the
Nathanael. She'll go for it. Sanchoku chance. That's the value worth fighting for.
Amon's not going to be callable. Oh, and a floating Dora. We're going to send it out, though. And she will happen. Although Takashima's still not Tenpai after that call.
Hasegawa will be, though.
Hasegawa's calling. Yep, 5-mon.
Not playing for the Sanchoku, though. Just going to play the safe route.
6-mon. We'll drop 1 pin first. Now we have floating 3-pin. That could be a bit of an issue. Oh, hold on. Takashima draws one, though. She's going to push it to the board. And now all of a sudden, Shibata has got a green light to go ahead, drop that. Pursue Tenpai at the end of the hand.
The Forzo's not going to be that bad. Depends on what gets cut. I'm sure Shibata will call any tile into Tenpai. It's just the tiles necessary are all Manzu, and I don't think those are going to come out.
Yeah.
You have to draw it, and
ooh,
doesn't quite work.
Interesting, but yeah. Not going to take that. Especially with, like, 1-mon not being on the board here, you never want to drop that.
Kami draws a useless tile, cuts the West, and then puts that useless tile into the middle of her hand as if she's Tenpai for it. Love to see it.
A little bit of Hollywood, yeah. You love it, here and there.
Oh, I absolutely do. This might end with no one Tenpai. See.
Yeah, I wonder in these situations how much of the time, even if these players had Tenpai, like if you're Kawakami and you have Tenpai, if you would ever just lay it down, just to kind of psych people up.
Does not draw a bad Mon tile, so she can keep her Tenpai.
Hasegawa will do it.
And that's huge. That's 3,000 points. But also, every other player pays out 1,000. So net 4,000 swing on each of the players. And that puts Hasegawa into second place with a chance to catch up to Takashima in her dealer turn. Hasegawa from Team Bar Watch. All the Bar Watch players so far have had a custom little sticker on their hand. Get to
nice bit of personality with it.
See the Bar Watch logo as well.
Yeah, speaking
every single discard.
Bar Watch, one of the fun things about Hasegawa, she is a Ho or a 7-dan on Tenho in Sanma.
Ooh.
Which is something I did not even know was possible. Because I forgot people play Sanma on Tenho.
Jenn would be very happy.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's playing in the online team league, the Sanma online team
league. I mean, hey, if you're 7-dan in something, I would think you're flaunting it everywhere. Even though we're on a different platform, like, you got to represent your skills, right? Although the rule set is
slightly
fairly different. Yeah, well, slightly different.
Okay. You know what? I will match your discernment there.
Mm-hmm.
Very might be the more appropriate word because there's no sumo loss and there's no
no busting. I believe.
I
Or
believe
no, there
busting
was
is on, busting is on, but
Yes.
no calling the pay. It's just a
Yeah.
separate wind. So yeah, some differences there, but
And I think the hands so far that we're seeing are kind of, same thing we've been seeing all match. Some very strong shapes, some good fill-ins early. But now we get to the point of the hands where half the table or more is Ishan 10 at the end of row 1. And as we've seen, that's not necessarily an indicator that we're going to have somebody Riichi very soon.
oh, so many pairs. Decision time. Is it the 6-mon? Are we gonna cut the 1-zone shift to Tanya?
I feel like you have to cut from the Manzu here. Or maybe the 5-pin. I don't think I hate the 5-pin.
The 6-mon
gonna
seems
cut
like the
6-mon.
most natural decision.
Yeah. Forso coming here, we have a little bit of a change. If you keep the Forso, I believe you're supposed to cut 9-8-mon, which is done and is done. You want to be able to kind of shift your Pinzu if you draw that 8-pin Dora, although we can see an 8-pin Dora will not be drawn.
Takashima with 1 and Kawakami holding a
Kawakami, yeah.
triplet.
Cannon, locked and loaded. Can we load
Ooh.
it, though? Oh, what a fill-in.
And the immediate
gonna
Riichi
reach
ping
that.
through.
We're on 4-7, so I believe it's okay in the wall.
And not the best weight, a central weight, but it's two-sided. And Shibata, desperate for points, wants to get to her dealership without having lost any more, so we'll just slam the Riichi. And as the dealer, Hasegawa really would like to fight this, but can you?
It's going to be a bit of a journey. That floating 5 is not doing us any favors either.
Yeah, Hasegawa trusting the 4-mon here, with the first suited tile being the 1-mon. Maybe believing that's a slight indication that the 4-mon is already held. It immediately becomes Nakatsuji on the next discard, which is always funny. A 5, so playing maximum efficiency. So Hasegawa just does not care about this Riichi, and she's going to play for it all.
I mean, if Hasegawa, again, high risk, high reward, you lose out to this Riichi, there's a good chance you might end up being last. If you win this, you have a very good shot at being first.
Yeah, this is her last dealership. The team has started this game at negative 40.1 and has a lot of work to do to catch up. So Hasegawa says, I need a first in this game. And I'm going to get that first by winning a big hand on my dealership. She's not going to let this go so easily.
And I believe the tank here from Kawakami is whether to switch to a chi-toy/toy shape or to just play a standard efficiency, really debating. And is going to kind of keep that standard efficiency, going to drop the 5-mon. I don't believe it's the most efficient tile, but it is much safer.
Yeah, a couple things to consider. Oh, Sumo, doesn't matter. There's a...
Sumo on the 7. Oh, and we flip an Ura too. So reach Pinfu Sumo, Ura.
1326. Plus a Honba, so 1427. And, there's decisions from Kawakami for cutting the 9-zo pair, going Tanyao Dora 3. There's a 3-4-5 Sanchoku in play. A lot of things to consider. Yeah. It just doesn't matter when the player Tsumos. And that's going to bring Shibata back from 4th place to very close to catching the other two for not only 3rd, but 2nd even. And given that this is her dealership, a Mongon will just put her right into 1st. So we're finally seeing those good hands turn into wins. We'll see if she can do it one more time.
Oh, this is not exactly the high pie you want to see going into your dealership. But again, everyone's kind of had slower hands, so you got a whole row to try to build that up. Hit some good fill-ins. You're right there. Kawakami's hand, not the fastest either. Does have a Dora, but not too much to play. Takashima's looking pretty speedy. And Hasegawa has a lot of pairs. Does have a Yakuhai call. Some interesting options that may present themselves there. Hasegawa, I'd imagine, though, might not call that Hatsu. There's no value in the hand otherwise. Ooh, and especially with that north, though, that's a Yakuhai. I'd imagine you have to cut 7 or 4-mon here. Yeah, now if you call both, you can get some value out of the hand. You're in striking distance, but I believe you also are at 4 pairs for the hands, right? Or was she Chitoi Ishansen?
We're going to see Shibata open up the hand. We'll aim for the dealer repeat with a Dora.
Yeah, North was not called either, so I do not think Hasegawa wants to open, wants to hit a Riichi. Maybe fish for some Ura on the Chitoi, increase the value.
Could just be waiting to see if the pair can come into hand before she has to make that final decision.
Problem is your shape is like not great here.
Now with 4 pairs, you can think about Toy a little bit. The problem is one of those pairs, I believe, was the 3-pin. And that's a tile that you're not expecting to see come out so easily with the Dora 2-pin.
7-pin out. We have Takashima slowly improving the shape. Oh, and now with the reds. I mean, listen, the Chitoi's nice, but
Triple
if you can manage the calls, all of a sudden, Mangan alive and well. Although that being said, these players have been very good about backing away and respecting an open hand, especially after like 2 calls. So Hasegawa, if she's reading the table how I think she would, she might be leaning a lot more towards Chitoi. Doesn't expect to get more than maybe 2 out of those 4 calls.
This is an interesting decision now for Kawakami. She can cut the 3-pin as the widest way to Tempai.
Yeah.
But that's going to give the 3-pin
pull. And with the hard one out of the way, all of a sudden, is the Hatsu going to get called to? It is. Now we're Ishan 10. Double Yakuhai still the call. Might not be the Toy for the maximum value, but again, everybody's so close. Even 3 Han here is a huge, huge deal.
Oh, that's
or
Tempai.
It would be Honitsu double Yakuhai.
Yeah.
Hold on. So this is Mangan.
Already a Mangan. This is a first place taking hand. A Dora for Kawakami.
Dora.
8-pin, 9-pin?
9 and 8. Yep. Maybe senses a little bit of danger, but says, well, who am I with 2 Dora not to push this?
This is going to be a battle. This is for first now between these 2 players. And Shibata caught in the middle, trying to hang on to her dealership.
No tunes. There's that last North. And that'll get insta-run, and all of a sudden, game is on its head. Hasegawa scores a Mangan.
We'll sneak into first, going into all last, stealing it away temporarily. We'll see what happens in the last hand. Takashima and Hasegawa separated by 1,800 points.
Shibata now really going to struggle in order to get that pass. Definitely with Kawakami as the last dealer, has a little bit more breathing room, more sumo range there in order to overtake for third. But it is definitely going to be a hard-fought battle the way these hands have been.
All right, here we go. Kawakami now.
Dora worked in, but not the prettiest.
Do need some good-looking draws.
Hasegawa looking all right. Shibata debating on how do I get any value from this? What am I doing? And honestly, I'm coming up with blanks.
Got some
Not a terrible
Riichi.
hand. Yeah.
Takashima.
Flip may be the best answer.
I think Takashima's hand was okay, especially with that pair up. So, a chance. Hovering the 9-pin a little bit. I don't know if she was that's just the hand placement, or if she's actually considering going Chinitsu with the value.
Maybe again, when you need something to make work, like even 3 Han Sumo is not going to overtake. So
Chun call. Takashima doesn't need much. She's got a door in hand and the Yakuhai already, so that's 2,000 points. Will take over first place. Just needs to complete the hand now.
First pass post. The question is, are people going to drop her? Very importantly, Kawakami is still down too. So it could be strategy later in the hand if Kawakami looks like they're pushing for a hand and have a reasonable chance at getting it. The other players back away and just hope Kawakami beats out Takashima.
Notably, Hasegawa, seeing that call, has to play for her hand now. So she will drop more dangerous tiles. East pair for Kawakami, that's excellent. But Hasegawa is to Takashima's right, which means that Takashima will be feeding Hasegawa and not the other way around. So Kawakami also, a lot of incentive to play out dangerous tiles, somewhat dangerous tiles, to just aim for her own hand. Tenpai.
Oh, and that's 6. That's a big feeling. Ishanten. Not quite.
A little flair with that discard as well. Here's
Mm-hmm.
the last East. It'll come
It's
out.
going to get dropped. It
Presumably
is. I
pulled.
imagine that gets called. Yep.
So the race is on. Kawakami's trying to catch Takashima's Tenpai, but
Decision time. Oh, opts for the safer 9-9. Doesn't like the 3-pin, 5-pin cut.
perhaps she's also looking at the 4-so, 4-so, 6-so that's coming out of Shibata's hand and thinking, that's not using any central tiles.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a shift towards Chanta or Junchan.
All of a sudden, Shibata might have found herself some value, especially a Junchan here. Can definitely get you towards the value that you're going to end up needing.
Door cut from Takashima basically confirms that that hand is Tenpai. If the extra flare on the discard wasn't enough to confirm it, this definitely should be Tenpai.
We can see, though, still Ishanten.
The thing is, no one actually cares.
But no one, yeah.
Hasegawa
that
can
is
deal
the
into
tough
that. Because if she doesn't, Takashima will surpass anyway, so.
7. Okay, now we're actually in Tenpai for realsies. 5-pin, 7-pin. Ishanten for Hasegawa.
And any Tadashi after dropping a Dora is...
Yeah. That's like, okay, now we're really Tenpai.
If the Dora is one thing.
Same for Kawakami, though. Tenpai, I believe 5-8, so... Yeah, Shibata trying to fight 5-8 mon, excuse me. 6-pin.
Still hanging in there.
Oh, and that 4
It's
is
Tenpai.
still not... Is it?
It is, yeah. Can choose a Tonki, like a Nobetan with a 3-so cut.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Duh.
Is going to do that. No Riichi, though.
Interesting. Even if declaring a Riichi will still leave her above Takashima.
And Shibata has Tenpai, but it's not enough, so it's going to back away. It ends up dealing into Takashima.
Yeah, her hand was pretty much forced in that scenario.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a cheap deal, and you're already in last. Like, you kind of you got to do your best there, right?
Understandable. Big win for Takashima, plus 43.1, extending her lead this season. Was in 14th place at the start of this series and is only climbing higher. We'll have to take a look at the individual standings later today and see where she ends up. Hasegawa will claim the second place, gets overtaken in the very last hand. Made a good attempt at it. Kawakami as well, taking the third, and Shibata hand force in that last one to deal in, but also fought very well. And so ends the second game of this team's series.
Yeah, what an exciting game. Really, just a lot of very a lot of lethality, I would say, for that. Like, everybody kind of right there. Some big Tenpais fighting back and forth.
Very smooth, very efficient play. We saw players getting very close to Tenpai, or Tenpai, yeah, especially in the early portion of the game, players getting very close to Tenpai and just not finding that big draw until very late. And as the game progressed, as the Hanshan headed into the South rounds, the speed increased. The draws came together faster and faster. And ended up being a very fast Hanshan, all things said and done.
Yeah. A quick scrap back and forth. I'm very excited to see what is going to go down in the final game for today. That being said, I will not be talking over it. I believe I'll be switching to our third A1 resident for now in the commentary team, Corak, coming over.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, Corak. And thank you, Harrison, for hopping in the commentary. Pleasure to go over a game with you.
Of course, as always, same.
I like how he says "for now" because that is how this always works. You just never know.
Now we have one final game in this series, lead extended. However, all to play for, especially in the individual standings in Game 3. And it will be interesting to see how things pan out. Let me see if I can find the... There it is.
There it is, another tile. Now, in the last game, of course, you're worried about letting that team in first, get anything more, and then sneaking out there at the end. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, and in the end, they did. Takashima pulling it through. And I think we'll be playing again in the next game. Let's go ahead and take a look at players for the third set of games. We do have our first dealer, Takashima, once again in the East seat. Had a brilliant performance in game number 2, has had a great series all game long. We'll see if she can continue it and extend her individual prowess. In the South seat, Riko Nishikawa, or Team Bar Watch. Cycling Sen Pro. In the West seat, my Kamo. Once again, I believe we saw her in game 1. A very exciting game when all things were said and done. And Kawakami, once again, playing in the North seat for game number 3. So a couple of repeated players, Takashima and Kawakami both coming back from game 2. And we're seeing a repeat of Kamo from game 1. We'll be starting in just a moment. Corak, did you manage to watch more than the end of that game? Did you notice anything?
No, I came in pretty late.
Things got very exciting at the end with 3 players, Tenpai, and was Takashima stealing away.
Yeah, you just can't let the first place team do it, but sometimes the wall just doesn't let you. It's going to be rough. You're just running out of time. The teams feel the pressure at this point. And again, you only need to be in the top position of the 4, so you're not competing against everyone. You have some of that for the second place positions. But if you let first run away, it's just so hard in this structure.
And we will see players preparing to make their initial discards at the start of game 3. 5 Sodora.
All right, it looks like we have a 5 Sodora. Looks pretty pinfu. Yeah, pretty standard hand. 4 is a great filler with the 2, 3, 4, 5 pin. I mean, I wouldn't complain about a starting hand like that. The Ryankan, great shape in Pinzu. The Ryamen shape that accepts Dora. Also, another really good hand here. A little more awkward to use, but still pretty fast. Really, these are all good hands. These are all significantly above average. And then there's this one where there are a few ways to play it, but you have 2 Dora. So you want to call something, but it's the north player. You can't call the south or the west for Yakuhai.
You'd have to stay closed and slam a Riichi, although I'm sure Kawakami will not be sad to do so.
Yes, the concern is, can you get there? And if you draw like that, the answer is yes.
So
getting closer.
Kawakami's in this interesting place of having too many blocks. It'd be interesting to see which one she's more inclined to discard. Maybe one of the pairs?
Normally you drop a pair if you're not going to be able to call, because Ryamen is just such a strong shape.
You're just going to hold all the blocks that she currently has until she has to make a decision after
right.
Improvement.
You just don't worry about the floaters this position. That's something that a lot of people who are new to 6 block theory is you don't really need floaters most of the time. 3, an excellent fill there. Now Ryamen headless Ishan tens. Very wide, but oftentimes ends up on a random Tonki if you complete one of those Ryamen.
If we saw Takashima in East 1 of the last game end up with that headless shape, draw into Tenpai on a Tonki 8-pin, and just slam it.
Well, we might see it here. I imagine this is a Dama. Yes, we'll just Dama looking for any upgrade, and there are a lot. J-pin's a great fill there. Cuts the 3, doesn't really want it around any longer. That's more definitely a danger tile cut rather than an efficiency cut. Ooh, you could cut the 7 mon here. You could also just lock it in, cutting the 2. Throws the 1 back. It's just 3-sided. That's why you wait the turn for it, take the Riichi. So this is one of those awkward shapes where the 2 is just Riichi. The 5 or 8 are Riichi and Pinfu.
Still, with a 3-sided way, you'll absolutely take it. And Kawakami's not going to risk the 1 pin just yet, or was that the 2 pin?
Now, pretty wide Ishanten there as well. Similarly, getting very close for a lot of these hands.
Yeah, start with a south-south. The 1 pin will come out later if she gets Tenpai.
Lunso just came out. She's not even worried about that. 6. Ooh, so this is one of those things where you're basically making your decision now if you push the 2 or if you fold, and not giving up at least yet. You don't really want to have to push that 6, but if it's your only option with Tenpai for Riichi Pinfu Dora, I'd definitely take it.
And we've seen this from Team Barwatch, pretty aggressively aiming for the Tenpai.
No, the 9 so, and you feel better when the 9 passes.
Oh, hello, Dora.
Well, there's Dora. Can't call it, you're just sad, and now those 2 5s are just safe tiles. You so want to get back into this hand, but okay, yeah, just cutting the west. Didn't want the 5 so being called.
Yeah, it's a long
walk. You just saw the door, you draw the 3. Is it really the 3-6? Nope. It's safe, and this also basically clears the 6, so in great shape. Oh, there's our Sumo. Reach Sumo, Pinfu. No Aura, but a nice little pickup there for Kamo.
700, 1300, and we'll head to the East 2 round, Nishikawa's dealership. Nishikawa is from Osaka and is an actress, appearing in movies and in the theater.
Well, definitely a bit of a trip to get here. We'll see if you can put on a good performance. Ooh. You want to go Sanshogu, but it's just not there. This is one where you hedge everything. You hedge the Honetsu, you hedge even Itsu in the Sozu, you hedge a Sanshoku if you can get something in that middle Sozu. Those are types of hands that are really fun to play, but can be really frustrating at the same time. Haku pair. Ooh, 3 so. So actually 2 Shanten now, but a couple of bad blocks. The 4 will connect with the 5s. This is a floating 8 Mondora. Speaking of 8 Mondora, of course we have one in this hand as well. 6 doesn't do much, but the hand's just not good. You're hoping to call the Haku and make something happen, but when that's your view, it's usually a very bad situation. I like this 4-pin cut, not giving up on the Honetsu. Can always call the Hatsu and make some value out of it, and if you just get the regular shape, that's fine too. Cutting away from the middle Kanchan is perfectly reasonable.
And you still have half of the tiles to upgrade on. You're going to miss out on the 3-pin cut, but you can draw the 7-pin and work towards it. Yeah, and now another So tile drawn, so it could be the Honitsu that you mentioned.
Could even be Honitsu Chitoi, a bunch of pair-ups at this point.
Here's the chance to call, but
Unless your choice doesn't take it.
Yeah, I think the shapes...
The problem if you make like a 1-so pawn is A, you have a 2-3 left over, and B, you really need the Hatsu.
Right.
Ew.
Kamo's got this challenging door to handle. It's one of those hands that you almost just play as Chitoi because you don't want to drop the door.
I was... As much as I hate Chito, I kind of like the 1-pin cut, but no, just throws it out. Playing efficiency, so I don't give a... Well, there's our Riichi 3-sided Riichi Dora 1, 2-5-8 pin, another 2-5-8 pin wait.
And maybe Kamo will be rewarded for having discarded the door ahead of time, but it will probably end up just folding from this position.
The hand's just not in a shape to fight. Imagine just a fold out. You can see the long pause in the 9, gets it on camera, but also you'll wonder, did you misread it? Now, at this level, they usually won't, but it's always something I feel when people take a long time on those live reads is Wait, did they just misread the shape, or did I get myself in trouble?
Yeah, it's I think Kawakami has this pattern with her draws to make sure that she doesn't give too much information. You know, discard too quickly on the tile that's not in the suit. Very consistent timing on the draw and discard to make it smooth and not give away any information. Also entertaining for the
North
viewers.
Cup, the gates passed. Yeah, make sure the camera gets all of these. We've seen some of these games where it's just drawn, thrown back immediately, and we see it from the discard pile.
You can kind of tell some players are very used to playing on the camera table.
Breaks north, continues to pretty much fold there. Of course, when you have that floating 8-pin, you don't really want to push. We, of course, know it deals in and doesn't look safe to anyone anyway.
So Nakatsuji.
So this is Ishan 10, but is it worth it? And the answer is no.
Not yet, at least. We can start with 5-so and try to work our way back in later. Oh, the 8-mon. Came too late.
3-so extends the shape in Sozu. The problem is you already cut the 5, so probably just continue folding.
I do like the fact that none of these players are really completely giving up yet. Always giving themselves a chance to get back.
Yeah,
into
they're
this.
also not overextending yourselves. There are plenty of people who would definitely achieve that 2 and tried to fight this. But that's another thing that I tell people. Ishanten is worse than you think it is, especially if you're getting late like this.
Yeah, you might think, oh, I'm only pushing one tile. But then you draw another tile, and then you draw another tile, and you draw another tile. It's not really just the one tile anymore, is it?
No, it's not. Now, this 9 is right by the Dora, so it's kind of scary, but at the same time, this is the same question. Is this worth fighting?
Yeah, the 7-so is interesting as well, but...
Nope, gets out.
Also right next to the Riichi tile, even with the 3-5-so I think have been cut so far.
Well, it definitely doesn't look like a Sozu weight at this point, and it's not, but you wouldn't expect it to be a 3-sided when this reveals. I would be very surprised at this table. This is a pretty early Riichi.
Not many good tiles for Kamo to discard now. She might have to really think about these next few decisions. And the pin tile that came out from the Riichi player is not really helping either. The last 5 cuts not giving any information to the table, so they're forced to just play passively.
And everyone's in this situation. If you give me the right draws in a row, I'll fight. But there's just no value, and you'd basically be pushing a couple tiles for tempai payments, and that's just often not worth it. But that is an actual tempai call, so that will be taken.
Yeah, we've seen Takashima really value her dealerships.
Plus, we've also seen a few of the 5s, so the 6 doesn't feel that bad. If the 6 just passed, you should throw the 3, take your E-shot 10.
That will finally give Kamo some safety.
No, the Yonko of the South, but that's not the weight. Now that 9 feels bad, but at the same time, are we really folding this? You have enough safety to get to the end at this point. But I would push, and yeah, there it goes. Man, I would not expect this to be a particularly good weight. That it's 3-sided would genuinely surprise me.
Somehow, Kamo is actually getting close to tempai again.
Well, this 8-pin would deal in if it comes out. Might go with the 7, I might just fold. Close, but that's not it. Gets the 3.
2-so, safe.
2's already passed.
One more tile to get through for...
Nope.
Each player now.
Oh, well. But no draws left, so has to just give it up. 4 is also a miss. But it deals in, of course, to the open hand, Haku no Mi. Also gets the Riichi stick, so small win there.
And that will pass the dealership off of Nishikawa over to Kamo. Game 1 also.
Not big swings here, because you're disarming the hand when you just call for 1,000 like that. You're thinking you're the Tempai payments, but you get the 1,000 and the Riichi stick. You figure you're not getting that from the payments, so definitely take the roan. There are situations you would pass, but not this early.
Yeah, and of course, whenever
If you had a
there's...
position battle late, you can always consider that, especially when there are no draws left. This early, you of course take it and don't even really think too hard about it. All right, a few pairs, kind of a mediocre hand, maybe 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku. 6 gives a possibly Peiko in Pinzu. Decent shapes. 7 pin, 5, 5, 7, 7, 8 in Pinzu's better, but it's not great. Similarly, the 6 connects with the 8 kind of loose. Every one of these hands feels just meh. They're not bad, they're just not good. Although that Haku turns this into a do I want to go Honetsu? You can also hedge the Chi toy since you have that 4-so pair, but I like this cut.
At 2 Yakuhai, you have to think about it. I don't think the hand really wants to go Honitsu yet.
8-so connects with a 6, 6, 7. 3-pin. Okay, not giving it up. It wants to go Honetsu. The question is, will it let you? Like, just because it starts that way doesn't mean it's going to end that way. And there we see the Haku call, and there we go. That was the key, especially wanting the Haku over the pay.
Now the rest of the...
connects. Can go ahead and make a decision later, but keeps all the blocks. Moving to a possible 2, 3, 4 Sanshoku as opposed to the 1, 2, 3. There's a Chi. Now Ishanten.
The table probably not believing Tempai just yet. So if you're not Kamo, you can probably jam some pin tiles, but...
Well, as a general rule, when you see a pair cut, especially a pair cut by Dora late, you figure, okay, they're at the honor stage, so they probably have 1 or 2 left. It's very rarely Tempai. Sometimes you'll have with no overflow like this, but you figure that's the end of the offsuit tiles. You're going to see honors coming out next. Another pair up.
I don't think we want pairs, though. Might even just throw it back.
You don't want to. I would throw it back. You could also go with the 4 if you want to just hedge everything. You do lose out on the Chew Toy route. But at the same time, you want the 3. You do not want to have to cut the 3. Speaking of not having to cut the 3, the ideal draw into Ishanten for Riichi Pinfudora. Oh, then speaking of ideal draws, back-to-back Ishanten, perfect fills. 7's down Anko, possible Sun Anko in this hand.
We saw
also possible Ipeiko if you get the 3 or the 6.
An honor tile came out from Kawakami, but Takashima still did not respect that Honitsu and dropped the 8-pin.
Well, that's Tempai. You see the second one, you should always think Tempai. There are times it is not, and I have been fooled by it, but it usually is.
Oh, 6-pin jam.
6 is just shoved. Gonna pass the call. Could have turned this into a toy. Waiting on the 7. We know the 7 is oncoed up, so it's never coming out.
I guess we did have a 1, 2, 3 mon Pinchi, rather. But could have been on the Shabo and would have won on the pay even, but...
Yeah, with the Shampoo. Now it's a 4-7 weight. So not stuck on the 7. Could go 1-mon, 1-mon here.
Yeah, you're not really that worried about the Sotiles anyway, but... You have to be concerned that someone is pushing pin tiles against this Honitsu that's probably Tempai. And so... You're also somewhat defending against Takashima as well.
7's a miss. 6 doesn't feel good, but it's not the most dangerous tile. We're going to see a Chi down for the Tempai. This is Tanyao or Tanyao Dora 1, waiting on 3-6. And we see this lose 3, but it doesn't likely come out. I think you might even take the jump. Well, there's our first Tempai. of a closed variety. So that's going to be a Riichi Pinfu Dora 1, 3/6mon.
Yeah, players saying this 22 isn't in the Dora suits, so they're not going to fear it. But oh, the 3
Oh, just Sumo. Gets the Sanso Sumo, and that'll be a couple thousand. And of course, the Riichi stick.
The Riichi stick that just came out. It's always sad when you lose that.
It's
Takashima.
yes, I made it to Tempai, and then you realize you were not the first one to Tempai by a long shot. You figure, okay, the Honitsu's dangerous. Oh, wait, the Tanyao shut down.
All things said and done, the score's still very close. Kawakami at a slight disadvantage, but now gets her chance.
Well, it's because the big hands, the big closed hands, and then the big open in that last hand haven't really hit anything. And even on that Sumo Reach Sumo Pinfu early, there was no aura, so it's still just 27.
Interesting.
I mean, I want to go Honitsu.
This is so sad. I feel like
it's
our only
not
option.
quite Kokushi. It's not quite a regular hand because you have a Dora, but you want. I feel okay. Cuts the south, so not aggressively going for the Honitsu. May get it later, but not aggressively going for it.
Yeah, without the Dora or Dora connectors, it might be pretty easily a Honitsu consideration, but the Dora really changes things.
I feel there's also an Itsu route. Well, now there's a 456 Sanjuku route, and they're going to see the call and an actual Honitsu.
And that is Nishikawa in the west seat, so that's Yakuhai for her.
6 is a great fill. That 456 Sanjuku is getting closer. Still needs a couple tiles. 8 pins a miss. 8 so's an interesting tile. I'd probably cut the 8 pin here. Because the 2 still allows Dora acceptance, and the 6/6H is a better shape.
Oh, there's the Itsu
draw. And the 8-mon allows us to go towards Itsu. Cuts the 7. Again, not completely giving up on it, but that's the 3 and the 7 are just always so in demand on a Honitsu suit.
And we've seen Takashima not really pay much mind to the Honitsu hands, but she is now sitting to the left of the Honitsu player, so I wonder if that will change her level of aggression offensively.
The thing about the Honitsu is you're not punished unless you deal in or they make the big sumo. And the question is, how aggressively do you want to shut down the sumo? Well, there's a 2/3 Sanjuku.
Good chance.
Now Ishanten will need the 3 so. We see 2 of them locked up.
And of course, 1 is the Dora indicator.
There's just 1 left.
However, that 3-so isn't necessarily going to be forced to stay in Nishikawa's hand. So if Takashima could get Tempai before it comes out, there's a chance.
For any of those upgrades, so wide there. The 2 does not feel good, but you threw it a couple turns ago. I feel you have to throw it back now. That's not a tile you want floating around. Thinks about it for a bit and throws it back. 3-so. Well, that's the ideal draw. But the problem is now you've basically locked in this 1-2 pair. So we'll instead cut the 2, making a potential penchant lock-in. But at the same time, there are abilities to convert the Itsu. Oh, there's Tempai. 6/9 so. There are abilities to confirm the Itsu if you pair up the Dora.
Yeah, that 3-so came out though, so Takashima will not be able to draw it from the wall.
Four pin. I kind of like 3-mon here.
Yeah, it's so hard to drop the so tiles now that...
Yeah, it may just be folding out. That's reasonable as well.
4-mon, not quite
4-mon pair up. It is technically an upgrade, and we'll go ahead and take it.
Shift away from the 1-so to the 4-so there, incorporating the Dora.
Oh, there's our 9.
Just in time too. Got the value bump. Yakuhai Honitsu Dora 1 will be a Mangan.
Big win. Definitely the biggest so far.
And for Nishikawa, jumps
Jumps
into
out into
first place.
first place. He's basically been sitting here and watching a lot of the action. And there it is. That's the big hand that blows the game open. And Kawakami's in deep trouble.
I tried to make a play for it on her dealership, but this time the Honitsu was there and had the value to back it up too.
All right, Takashima is dealer here. It is South 1, has the East pair, can call and go, or even play this closed, has a door as well. Pretty good shapes. I'd be happy with a hand like that. This one's a little awkward. It's another one of those, there are a lot of ways to play it, and then you get the 8, it looks even worse. Because it wants to be a regular hand, at the same time, it's tempting you to pair up a Yakuhai and go Honitsu, so you forget the other bad blocks. It's one of those hands that is very unlikely to finish closed, but there are ways to open it for value.
And if you're
You need a couple draws first.
And yeah, if you're Kawakami, you pull in that 8 pin with left with a 7, 8, 8, 9, 9 pin shape. I'm normally not that happy to see that chance to Peko, but after dealing to Mongon, you know what? That's a route to value, so I'll take it.
Yeah, you need value, and you do have the last dealership, but it's a long way off. 7 pin, a bit of a decision. Yeah, we'll just play efficiency for now. You don't expect to win the hand, but you're going to go ahead and play it out, see what happens. We have the awkward shape there with a 2, 2, 6, 7, 7, 7, 8. So you're hoping to upgrade that to an Ipeko. 5 allows the shift down. Now a 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku looking possible. And just continues cutting on her. It's distant Itsu. You're not expecting it, but you're at least considering it. Ooh, this is a bit of an interesting decision. I like the 7-1 cut, but this may also just be the 6.
6 is like the most straightforward approach, but you lose out some lucky draws towards I don't know, Sanchoku or Tanya Ping, things like that.
Ooh, this is another one. I don't think you can cut Dora in this position. I think this has to be the 1-3. Maybe the 8-9. And yeah, it goes with the 3.
And if you pair up the door, you have Ipeko Dora too. If you draw the 7 pin, then you are waiting on the Dora.
Dora.
But that really limits the tiles that you're accepting into your hand.
Yeah, but at the same time, if it's Doratanki, you sumo it, then you're in great shape. It's already Mongon, and if you roan someone, even Dama at 52, that's a pretty good hand, and of course a direct hit on someone, so they're going to drop a bunch. This should probably be the 1 pin. Because this also allows you to draw the 5-so. Getting some lag here.
Yeah, I'm getting the lag as well.
He's going to get thrown back. And it will be called. Wanted the hand to speed up, and it just didn't. So, going to call now.
Another 5.
Another 5 pair. Ugh.
You don't really want to cut the 8, but
I want to throw it back.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the world, like the world where we get to use 2 Dora is already here, just throwing it back. So.
Yes. It's difficult to actually fill, but at the same time, if it's there, it's there.
Another pair draw gives some pause to Kawakami. This time cutting the 1 pin.
Not holding the 4 for the possible 4 physics Sanshoku. With the open hand, you don't really need it. There's one of those 7s. Three's a miss. Gonna get thrown back. 7's a great fill. Now you shun 10. And still get the 5, 6, 7.
A 6, 7, 8, 8, 9 pin shape is really rough if you're trying to complete a sequence. It's great if you're trying to find a pair.
Right, because you can use the 5, the 6, the 8, or the 9. And there's the call, and this is Tempai for Ton Dora possible Sanshoku.
Yeah, if we can find the 7 as our winner. As opposed to the 4. Another 3 mon, just doing it here. Need something to connect to
Can't
the
get
door.
there, and it's definitely not throwing the Dora. Two
Nishikawa
pins a fill. At least
Yeah.
I think that's a 2-pin. Yeah.
has made a hand out of this. It looked like a hand that was going to struggle from the start, but it at least looks like a hand now, though it has gotten there a little bit late. As expected, Kawakami is really slow in filling in this tempai. The tiles just aren't.
Oh, there's
Music
our
that.
tempai. There's our reaches. A 6-0, 9-0 pay weight.
Wow.
Oh, well, that just onkos up and fixes a lot of your problems. You can't cut the safe 8. That's what I would do here.
And in theory, you will be jamming an 8 so
Probably a
perhaps in the future?
7-so or an 8-so.
Right.
And you're not going to be happy either way, but if you get the tempai, you get the tempai.
2 tiles right next to Dora are not ideal. Oh, that
draws
is...
Dora.
Can you possibly
There's
jam the
enough
Dora?
value to jam this. The question is, do you care? And says, yeah, let's not do that. And I like this only because of the position of Takashima's team.
That's true.
If this were a flatter distribution or early in the season, I think you should push that. But here, I think it makes a lot of sense. Oh, the 9-mon. The backfire wouldn't have been any value, though, so it's not that much of a backfire.
The waiting game continues. Where is the north? Have we seen any already?
I think one was discarded early.
Yeah, I see one in the pond to the right. Takashima still holding each other. There's the 9-so.
Sumo! Gets the 9-so Sumo. There is extra foo here.
Will not see any Ura, though. Not the Dora side either. So limited value. She was hoping for more. But it'll take a win and extend your lead going into dealership number 2.
Yeah, it is extra food, but not enough to break the threshold. Gets the 8 and the 2 for the Sumo, but again, if you confirm that Anka, it means you have a Ryanman fill, so only 30, doesn't get the boost. Regardless, though, not complaining about it in first place, and dealer here in South 2.
So pleasant to open up 4 tiles and see 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you look at the rest of the hand, you have the Yakuhai pair. It's like, is it Honitsu? And then you look at the other parts of the hand. Maybe, but unlikely.
We'll start with the 2-so, though. At least think
I
about
like
it.
the 2-so. You can also just cut the pay and be a little less greedy, but I like going for it. Hatsu pair. It is the door indicator as well, so just one left. See the 9-mon cut from the 8889. I'm not going to hold 2 Yakuhai. A 3 is a much different cut from a 2. This 3 just has so much acceptance. Well, there's a Dora, so I'm going to hold on to that for now. 8 ping goes out, holds the 2-mon. Ooh, 4-so. I think pays the normal cut. There it goes. Wants to go the 3, 4, 5 Sanshiku, but it's just not there, and eventually cuts the 3. 6 is a great fill, but look at these Kanchan. 2 of them and 2 Penchun, depending on how you read the hand. Bad blocks all over. Similarly, the 3, 5 and the 7, 9. Everyone's kind of straddling any way to force these hands to come together. They're just not. That, on the other hand, helps quite a bit. Extends the shape in Sozu to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, just fill it yourself perfectly. There's one down. We'll need the other one. Or can always just call the east for the Yakuhai Nomi. A shunten there as well, but you really want that south. Another pair up, doesn't want to take it. See this shift around. There is the 345 Sanjuku building as well. One more. Ooh, interesting tile. We'll just throw it back. You can also cut the 3-5. Look to pull the toe and wait on the 2.
Hello.
There's our tempai. Which one do you want?
Do we want any of them?
They're both awful. I honestly like the headless. You can also go 1-2 I do not like Dama here, though.
This is one of those spots that I'm not going to hate. A Dama. Just to look for something else. Hatsu is the Dora indicator, so...
It's so bad. That's the problem, is your real upgrade is Ipeiko. So I think 3 is a mistake. Can't go with the 7. We'll Dama here, looking to get the 1 or the 2.
Yeah, or just the green dragon. That will also work. Then you have more choices to make later. So could break now.
Well, this should be the 5-mon. I do not. If you're going to make this play, you should be cutting the 5 here. And yeah, that's the play.
Now
this gives you 2 different Ipeiko options, and the Dama Sumo. If you didn't like the Dama Sumo, or you didn't like the Riichi Sumo, there's no reason to want the Dama Sumo.
I guess with the 3-2 mon that have been discarded, the Ipeiko is not going to happen in the mon.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah, gonna trade out for the West instead. That's perfectly acceptable.
Oh, 456 Sanjuku looking very good here. This is a question. We're gonna cut the Dora now? Not yet. And sometimes you'll cut the Dora just to find out where it is. Figure out who's actually need to be scared of. It's anytime you have a Dora like that, the later it is, the worse it is. Oh well, not the tile you want, but it's still an easy Riichi, I feel. 3-sided. You're in distant 4th place. You have to throw it out.
Yeah, I think the only consideration she's thinking here is that it's not that hard to draw 369, and then she could Dora Tonki for value, but...
Well, this is maybe a chase. This is definitely Tempai. This is dealer with Tone. The question is, you Dama or Riichi here. We'll Dama with a bad 4-pin weight.
2-pin not so good here. Kamo can make that decision later, though. Starts at the West. Another mon tile.
Extra on the 4-7 line. Would have to cut one of them to stay Tempai. Will do so.
Really not a whole lot to read from this pond. Other than Sozu looks a little bad.
Ah, there's the 4 you're hoping for, and it deals in for the Tonomi.
Not enough food to send it over, but still, a nice snipe from the dealer who was in the lead to begin with. Didn't necessarily need to challenge, but does very well to extend that lead. Certainly from an overall team perspective, would help her team out a lot.
Yes, when you're sitting there at minus 27 coming to this game, you know you need to make moves. There just aren't many games left. So you don't just need first. You need big first, and you really need the top team to drop a bit. Ooh, pretty good starting end here. Possible Itsu, maybe just a Pinfu. Can accept a Dora nicely. Great shapes in the offsuit. 7 definitely wants to go Itsu. The question if you get those draws. That's one of those annoying shapes. The 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. Where like, okay, I need the 3 and then the 6 and then the 9 and oh wait, that's all on the same Suji line.
I mean, every tile is just as likely as another, but you're missing out on acceptance when you have overlap like that.
Yeah, speaking of Itsu upgrades, now is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 9. If you draw the 7 or the 8, you probably just go for it. Gets rid of the floating 9s, though. 2-pin's a great draw there. Allows a whole bunch of maneuvering in the Pinzu shape. It doesn't do anything immediately, but it makes the hand so much more flexible.
Pencil pair up is interesting. Now 3 pairs, although you can easily drop out of the 2-mon, 4-mon.
So this should be the 1-so, but you can also just cut a floater. The reason the 8 came out was because the 9 early didn't want the potential for a 10, even if it is theoretically 3-sided. Oh, and the backfire on the Hatsu.
Here's another pair.
Another pair. It's not really a T-toy hand, though. I want to go 9-so. Yeah, just move towards Tanyao. You have the Peiko backup if you draw 3-bon.
That sounds like a super solid decision. Kamo.
I think you just have to give it up and cut 1-2. Yeah, there it goes. Similarly, when in doubt, go Tanyao.
It does seem to be the theme. I mean, for good reason, too. Tanyao is just easier to put together, generally.
Gives up on the Itsu. There is, of course, still the Tanyao Peiko upgrade. Ew. Just get rid of the 1 for now. Has an extra floater. I said ew before, but again, ew. It should just be the 2-bon. Yeah, okay. Gets there eventually.
These draws coming in are not sparking joy.
Oh no, another Hatsu.
Oh, that's tragic.
Oh, now you could be either Tenpai or Ishanten for a really good Horitsu.
The 1 pin as well.
Oh, another 1. Everything's just backfiring. That's so tragic.
Still, I mean, the big question is who can play towards this Dora? A lot of 9-so have come out, so the 7-8 shape is also looking weaker than it would normally.
Ugh. You should just cut the 4-mon here. It's not Sanshoku. You still have your tunes to fold with if necessary. Another backfire, having just cut the 8. Moves around with the 3. Ew. If you draw the 3, you have some options by keeping that 1, but every one of them's bad. You're not happy with any draws.
Yeah, mostly it gives you the flexibility to use the 3-so, 6-so, I feel. You
Yes,
had
but
that
you're
before,
still talking
but...
Riichi no Mi. There is going to be a pawn for Tanyao Ishanten. We'll need the 4-mon/2-so, and of course complete the run in Pinzu.
At the stage of everyone's hand currently, that pawn actually holds a little bit of a threat to it.
Well, everyone's wondering, okay, we've seen some 9s. Where are the 8s? Oh, it's probably paired up in the open hand. That's how I'd be reading this.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see
even the hesitation
some
on the
caution.
choose. Like, do I want to just fold now or do I want to fight this?
Because no one really has a good hand. No one has that Dora pair. So I don't think the other players do.
Oh, no, this hand just... Oh. It'd be what? Sananko Tenpai with the Honitsu?
Oh, there it is.
There's the perfect draw. You can do the Chuchun.
Nishikawa's been looking for that draw for a very long time. I almost slammed it into her hand when she pulled it in.
There's Tenpai waiting on 4-mon/2-so.
Tanyao only. Suddenly Nishikawa playing really
Seven's
quickly.
a pair up, but you don't ever want to cut Dora. To me, that's a sign I just instantly fold.
Don't want to cut the door. Don't want to cut the door indicator. Tries it.
Throws the door indicator. 8 clears. Forso turns down the perfect Ishanten. Of course, one of those 4 had already been cut. So for 10, and there's our Riichi. Another 4.
And she's going to jam 8 pins safe.
8 safe.
Oh, wow.
That's a tile.
I think we're done.
That is welcome to Ipatsu with your Tanya no Mi.
Yeah, she's going to play for the
And
door
says,
Tonki.
yep.
Oh, the 8 so cleared.
And it clears. And of course, this is just a Riichi Nomi on 1-4, so.
Well, now how do you play
have
this?
to get the Dori here. I don't even think about this. If it cleared, you clear it. No, going for the greed, hoping someone else gets there and shoves it.
Nishikawa still holding the Ishanta and might fight, although we're getting very late in the round. About 2 draws per player now. All right, now it's time to...
Not the next turn.
Nine months, not gonna get
cutting relatively safe tiles, trying to keep your options over tempi, and it's just not happening. So 3, similarly, this is not going to happen. You have one more turn if you want to get really greedy. But it's worth remembering that 2-mon pawn. So the 2-5 is just a really bad shape in general. The question is this worth pushing for even a chance at tempi? And thinks about it for a while, eventually does throw it.
So he's not going to get there. So no Tsumo. And Kawakami has a safe discard, so no Ron either. 1 player tempi, 1,000 points exchanged from all the other players.
That's one of those great feelings. You reveal the plus 3,000. No, I had Riichi Nomi.
Basically like revealing a bluff in poker. Y'all folded, I had nothing.
I had a hand, but it was worthless. We'll get Kamo into second place now. Dealer here in South 3.
Still, the race for first is totally live. 3 players fighting for it. Kawakami with the last dealership, never out of it.
Sanzo Dora. Kamo is dealer here. Pretty good shape. Ooh, I like that Manzu. Is that a 2 through 8?
Wow. That is
shiny.
Fantastic.
And the off tiles aren't even that bad. You have Ryokan, you have a door accepting tile, you have a 7. Goes and gives up the immediate door acceptance. 5 shows a great connection with the 6, 7, 8, 9. 7 fills in nicely. Upgrade that to Ryokan, although there's also a route for Junshan Sanshoku.
I think that's why we saw the 6 pin first cut.
7 so pair up. And you want to go Itsu now.
Fill out those sequences. Slam Riichi.
4 so doesn't really do anything for this hand. I say the 5 still does extend the Ryokan. It may not be obvious because of how the hand's displayed, but it's 5, 7, 9 plus 7, 8, 9. June doesn't do anything.
Holding the tiles that she's going to cut on the left side of her hand because she's left-handed.
6. Ooh, interesting choice. So the immediate the fast play is the 2-mon, but it just cheapens the hand so much that I definitely like the 1 pin.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This feels like a golden opportunity to build some value. Be a shame to give that up too early.
Another pair. There are routes to Toy, but everything's just so awkward.
The Tusa would be good, but we've cut the 1 so already. We already made our decision.
Oh, no. Well, I just go 2-4. Yeah, figuring that almost any Pinzu is going to be a monster if you can get it.
Should be noted that...
Aku Anko.
Multiple pairs. It should be noted that the display is incorrect.
Yeah, it's wrong. It is Dora, but it's still you'd cut the 3 so there. There's your tempi. If you take it, getting greedy here, I like this as well. You have Ipeiko upgrade, you have Itsu upgrades, and just Tanyo Nomi is so sad with a hand like that. There we see the first call. Just going to try and end this hand, get to South 4, as Nishikawa wants to take control. There's our Riichi, though.
And not quite
147 Riichi Pinfu possible Tanyao.
9 would have given the Itsu chance, but you know what? This is okay, especially if we get the 4-7 for Tanyao. 3-sided Riichi's super strong as dealer. Nishikawa reconsiders shutting this hand down. Dora comes out. That helps reduce the value perspective.
Well, at the same time, the 1 pin was safe, and the 3 pin is Gimbutsu. So we'll see if that's a hard fold later. But it's very much in that vein of I'm not completely giving up, but I'm also not exposing myself to real danger.
Right. As first place player against the Riichi, if you can steal this away, that would be excellent. But you don't want to risk anything making that play. Don't want to risk too much.
Yeah, and this looks like the fold.
3 Dora have been discarded at this point. Pretty rare.
Well, this is pretty wide Ishan 10, but it's not fun to shove either of those tiles.
Just value play the 9, and hope that it goes through.
Well, you have the 3 5-pin reach, and you're probably going to have to throw the 6, and it just doesn't feel good. Instead, deals in.
Riichi Tanyao Pinfu.
And with that, of course, the Riichi 6 left over, Kamo runs it back right there within 1,200 of first place, and Kawakami just keeps sinking.
Yeah, neck and neck now, Kamo and Nishikawa. Again, Takashima still fighting for first. Doesn't have that much to lose because her team is doing so well.
Now, just where the scores are, if Kamo wins, even if Takashima gets third, that's fine. There's such a gap there that you're not losing that many points. Again, there just aren't many games left. That's a nice little Pinfu hand, possible Itsu, double south pair, a whole bunch of pairs. Could even go Toy Toy. Toy Toy double south, one of my favorite hands.
Fast wrap to Mangan.
5 lets you shift away from the 8, but may hold the 8 a little bit, because of course you have honors to get rid of, and of course you pair up the... If you draw a door, you like the 8 as a floater with a 4, 5, 6, 8. Four-pin pair up. A little bit of work still in this hand.
Oh, nice
5.
improvement.
Ew. I mean, you just cut the east here, but the 1, 2, 4, 5, not one of my favorite shapes.
Yeah, but we're planning
Well,
on
there's
cutting away from
Onko the
that.
south. Forget relying on anyone else. We just draw the third one. Easy game. 3-pin allows this shift towards Ipeko.
Hand is easy for
3
Kamo to
Mon,
drop.
perfect draw. Now Ishanten for possible Son Onko with the double south. Although it'd be question whether you take the 2-sided weight, should you fill that in, versus the Son Onko route. Of course, I feel with Kawakami's score, I want to greed.
Right, it feels very natural to go for the maximum value.
Ooh, could go 1, 2 here. Nope, throws the 6 back. Well, that's just Tempai. You can Dama this, but it's just so hard to get real upgrades.
Really, you're just hoping for the
3
3
upgrades are in Manzu. Yeah, or the 3 so, or even the 4 so. There are routes for it, but at the same time, double so you have to be willing to pass a Roan, and that's really the decision. You should be thinking, if my tile comes out, do I pass? If you can pass, then you can Dama this.
You could 1-mon and try to find Ipeko somewhere.
Yeah, you have double Ipeko shapes. I like that option a lot, and does get there.
This is some fancy maneuvering by Kawakami. Desperate for more value. Love to see this.
Not giving up, showing some real fight. Well, now it's just ramming around Ishan 10. So we'll cut the 1, 2.
Expected from the individual winner of the last year. We'll hold the 3-pin.
Connects to the door there with the 5 so draw. Well, that confirms the 1 pin is the pair now with a potential Ipeco and a 2-5 weight.
Paimon makes a very
Now
wide Ishan 10.
headless.
So
Oh no!
Oh, it's
Well, we're back.
It's too late now. She says.
Yeah, that is very much the wall giving you a sign.
Also, she's created a Nakasuji trap. We haven't cut the one
Yes,
earlier.
the 4. 4 looks very safe against that pond.
Honestly, it's one of the safest tiles that players will have to try here. Instead of just honors in Genbutsu.
When you have a distant 4th place Riichi, you're always wondering, is this a monster hand I need to shut down? Is this some bad weight where they were looking for upgrades? Or is this just, I want the game over? And you never know.
Nishikawa has safe 3-pin. Still Ishan.
Oh, well, there's Tempai.
Which way to go? 8 Mon's okay?
I'd cut the 8. And
Also, the
Riichi.
question of Riichi versus Dama because the fact
Dama,
that it's Genbutsu.
okay. I think the 3-pin will come out. We'll see.
If that tile's bad enough. I mean, 3-pin is a natural path to try to fight. The 2-so draw, or after
Yeah,
2-so
you
draw.
confirm. Yeah, the 2-so. And it does. The Dama pays off.
That's Kamo
Gets
as
the
the dealer.
Pinfu Dora 1.
Notably directly off of Nishikawa as well, so a gap now starts to build.
And 3 Homba as well as the Riichi stick, so not even a small win.
And you can see a little bit, Nishikawa a little bit surprised that that dealt in, because it just passed, it just cleared. There's a one
Yeah, it was cutting from a pair, basically.
relatively safe discard from the dealer, and all of a sudden they're Tenpai waiting on it. The power of the Dama-ten sniping the safe tile. The Genbutsu tile.
All right, pretty standard Pinfu hand. Can accept a Dora. Also says Pinchan 1 2-pin. Still, it's not a bad hand. Maybe a 5 6 7 eventually. Similarly, standard Pinfu Tanya, maybe a 6 7 8 Sanshoku in there. 8-so being Dora. Kind of a mediocre hand. Oh, that's the best hand of the bunch by far. 3-pin connects with a 4, can keep all the shapes together.
Takashima not really that optimistic about this hand, I'm sure, but when you're this close, the second place, you certainly want to be able to play for this.
4-pin and connects to the 2. Now it's a question of what shape do you want to go for? Do you potentially want the Dora Tonki? Speaking of Dora, there's one of them.
Kawakami in this position where she's got a pretty decent hand, but the tiles she needs are very specific tiles. Not a lot of acceptance.
Ooh, the 5 is an awkward tie. Yeah, we'll cut the 8 for now. You don't ever want to cut the Dora, but at the same time, the floating 5 isn't that good. You want Tanyao, but I guess Tanya would be better than the Penchon where you have to cut where you wait on the Dora indicator. But at the same time, ugh.
Oh, hello.
That's a draw. I mean, I'd go 2-4.
Ooh, interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, wants to cut a whole bunch of Monzu tiles.
And not even just cutting from the 7-mon first, but instantly starting with a 5. Basically tells me that she has her blocks in sight. She's decided that nothing's going to change about them. Maybe even hedging the 6, 7, 8 Sancho a little bit, just looking for that 8-mon draw, but...
Shape's definitely locked in at this point. I imagine this 9 goes back, doesn't really do anything. Because you want the Danyao. Well, that technically upgrades the hand, but it's not a pretty one.
Oh, sadness is the 5-so.
Backfire on the 5-so.
It's just discarded.
Tune doesn't do anything. Suizo gets an Anko out of this. So which shape do you want to cut down from? Goes with the Formont. Ishan 10, but no value.
2 Samenchons and a Penchon is quite a shape. You're so thrilled if you draw the 8 So pair up. You just got gorgeous shapes from there, but...
Well, I think it's just Tanyao. I'd cut the south. Yeah, okay, goes for it. You want the Sanshigu, but if it's just Tanyao Dora 1, that's fine.
Yeah, really going to be relying on your last dealership to make up this gap.
South a blank, Hatsu's a blank.
Oh, 5 So.
5 So is the perfect draw. Riichi Nomi waiting on 5-8 Mon, the perfect fill.
Riichi first, see what happens later. Maybe Ipatsumo, maybe Hidden Ura. Nishikawa really does not want to deal into this.
Four completes the 2-3-3 shape, but you wanted the 3 as the pair.
Close.
9, yeah, it's not it. The 5-8. Now we have a headless Ishunten for that Dora Tonki. Ooh, Ishunten here as well. I feel you have to be fighting.
Yeah, 2-mon almost feels like the cut because you've cut the 5-mon already.
Yeah, you do not want that 4-8-10. We talked about some of the players just not having enough to fight with. Well, these hands are enough to fight with. Everyone seems to be going for it.
Yeah, and this, as it gets closer to the end of the game, there are fewer rounds to play around with, so you have to fight with what you have. Even if it's
all the Mon tiles, and now it's still that 5-8. And there's the 5. Uh-oh.
Did not look pleased with that draw, and for good reason. She's trying to find a way back to Tenpai. 2-mon, 1-mon, and then she gets to work around a little bit.
Could also just shove the 2-pin in. No, that feels more like a fold.
Is there a chance the 6-mon can pass?
Oh, well, that's Tenpai. I imagine it's just a reach. Oh, no, first place. May not Riichi.
No, does
We'll
fight.
do so, though.
Going for the big
Riichi,
points.
Tanyao, Dora 1, on a 4-7 pin. Oh, and the confirmed Tanyao, this has an Ipeco. Riichi, Tanyao, Ipeco, Dora on 7 So.
7 So versus 5-8 Mon versus 4-7 pin. And the fight continues. Nishikawa is going to get out. East, safe. And not the 7 So.
West. 3-pin, and everyone's in anticipation. I could have called that technically for Tenpai, but had to shove the Dora. So, not worth it in that situation.
No, definitely not. 6 is barely safe.
Close again, but not it.
1 pin. That one's fine. And now I go back to Kamo. 2 So will clear. Holding 2 of the 7 So's. Oh wow, the last 7 So!
Reach Sumo, Tanya, Ipeco, Dora. No Ura, I believe that's just Mongon.
Kawakami is not done. Picks up 3 sticks and gets the bonus of 4 Honba as well.
Really would have loved an Ura there, but you take that.
That was the worst weight out of all of them. The 7 So Kanshan, where 2 were held by another Riichi player. 1 was the door indicator. There's only 1 left, and it was in the wall. She found the Tsumo. Kawakami just not giving up. Okay, that's a nice starting 4.
Significantly less great afterwards, but ooh, maybe Honetsu. You're seeing a lot of loose honors, and not much of the other suits. I want to go Honetsu. I don't even want to think about this. If you're in this dealer in South 4, you just have such an incentive to fight. I guess the Dora is the only question.
I love the way she drew those tiles. A little, like, peek. A little, like, poker card cam peek. A little suspense for the viewers.
All right, north is the Yakuhai, so it'll be held for a little bit. 3-so, great draw. I mean, I'm just going. Especially 5-so Dora. I mean, yeah, this is not a hard decision to go for. With the score line, you know you have to run it up. And that's something that often people just speed up in their dealer turn. Oh, Haku was revealed from the wall, but everyone saw it, so no penalty. Dora pair up here. Tanya with 2 Dora, looking pretty good. 2-so completes the 2-3-4. 3-mon, not a great floater. Because you do have the early Monzu cut. I believe that was a 1. 4-pin. Well, this is your decision. Are you going to cut the honors? We'll do so for now. See the 3 there, maneuvering the Tanya. 6 connects to the 7 nicely. Can accept Dora as well. Big value in these hands so far.
It's going to be quite the all last.
5-mon pair up. Ugh.
That's not what we were looking for.
Cheeto would be the most disgusting way to end this game.
Takashima is getting really close to Tenpai now. And the gap from her to first is under 10,000 points, so Mangan Sumo will do it for her.
This is the Yakuhai pair. And since Kamo's in first, may just call and go. That's what I'd do.
His hand has moved away from Honitsu now. Kawakami has to play standard now.
8-pin extends the Pinzu shape. 5, 6, 7, 8, pretty good. Gets a Kanchan upgrade. There is a 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku if you decide the pay is pair locked. Now I have an Anko on the 5-mon.
2 away from Tenpai. There's Tanyo options. There's also...
Now, the normal cut here is 4-pin. The question is, how do you get any value out of this hand? And do we want to call just by cutting the 1-so? If you cut the 1-so, you need to be willing to call the 7-so and 8-so.
I think she is. Sort of resigning yourself to an open hand for lesser value, but it's so important that you repeat here that it's a necessity at this point.
Is to just go for it. This was probably the 7-mon. You could do something in Pinzu, but I just got the 7.
7-so, oh, nice.
7-so, we have an Anko.
Ishanten?
2 Anko in this hand now. Yes, Ishanten. For Riichi Mahjong, maybe Adora.
Another pair.
4, oh, well, as the 4-mon pair and the 7-mon pair. It's not the shampoo you want to end at. So just goes ahead and cuts it now.
Haku. And then also, that was the Haku that we saw, I believe. They're back to back in the wall.
We'll go and continue getting rid of these tiles. The Ishanten slide with Ryuman.
Aha.
6. Ooh, that's a draw. I definitely cut 4-pin. I wouldn't even think about this.
It gives us some options to slide to better shapes in the future, but...
Slide to better, and it's a lot easier to call now.
Right. But still Ishanten.
We're not giving anything up doing this, and we gain a whole lot. That's the only tile, and that doesn't even make you that bad. They just, oh, maybe I might have had a Sun Anko round. But Sun Anko with a 4-mon and, an 8-so is not great.
Yeah, there's 8-so Pon now. 5-mon Pon. 3-mon
Yeah, the
Chi.
4-pin. And of course, the 4-pin's pretty dead anyway.
Oh,
now that one's
We're
frustrating.
going to draw nothing from pin tiles here on out, aren't we? And with this 2 Dora, Takashima's so close to being able to win a game-winning hand, but...
There's Tenpai. Riichi, Pinfu, Dora 1, possible Tanyao.
6-pin, 9-pin. 8
We have that extra 6 in this hand.
It gets there, but it's too late. The Riichi already happened.
Yeah, I think you should go north-north. Yes, there is still a Tanya route to winning the hand.
If Nishikawa was the only player Tenpai, she will take first place if it goes to Ryu Kyoku.
A miss, and a lot of maneuvering around. Oh, there's the pay that was looked for the entire hand. They just held that pair up until row 3 and then has to give up. And there it is. Ishanta now for a possible Itsu.
Importantly, holding and using the 9-pin in the hand. Will not deal in yet.
Ugh. I think you just fold. This hand's not getting there. The argument for pushing would just be that you can't afford to lose the game here. You have to get the first, but maybe just folding is the best way to do that.
The 8's back.
Yeah.
Trusted the wider acceptance of the pin tiles, but the dropping the 2-pin was actually the answer. Now she's have to wait a
The
little
problem
longer.
is might have ended up dropping the 9 if that had happened and dealing in.
Frustration, but still some chances.
3-pin. Okay, this is Ishun 10. Might push the 6 and deal in. It's just such a bad shape. There's the 6! That's the expensive end. Riichi, Tanyao, Pinfu, Dora.
That'll be a
Pinfu,
Mangan.
Tanyao, Dora, Mangan.
I don't think that's going to change positions down to 3rd, but it will be Nishikawa confirming first place here. Plus 48.64 Team Bar Watch. Nice comeback in that all last. Kamo made a good effort of it. Will retain 2nd place here for a positive 5. Takashima tried so hard in that last hand, didn't quite make it there, and Kawakami, a brilliant comeback at the end, but will fall just short in the end. Kawakami taking the 4th place, as this is the final game of the day.
Just didn't want to give up. Kept fighting, kept pushing, and the 6 is the logical, efficient cut there. But it does deal in and drops, but still keeps the 2nd. The problem is just the team needed the points. You can't afford to take a 2nd there. So tried to keep the tempi because figuring everyone else is out. They were actually really close.
And so ends the series. We will have, of course, the results for the day. Perhaps we can take a peek at the standings that existed before the series started. There they are. Maze Bar up at the top, plus 184.9. Mahjong Bar Watch, 2nd place with plus 10. Close behind, followed by Mahjong Nyao, Kanai, and TD Studio was in last. And for the games that we saw today, well, it was pretty convincing. Maze Bar.
Yeah.
2.
Maze Bar gets like something there. Runs up to 51, but takes that 3rd at the end. Would have completely run away with this group had that not happened. As it is, they're still in very strong position.
And of course,
Mahjong Bar Watch there at the end with that big win, leaving themselves a chance. They really needed this win, and they really needed Maze Bar to take 3rd in that game.
it was a very nice game from Okada for TD Studio early in the game. Kawakami, sorry, had some nice games. The hands just wouldn't come together for her in the end. And Mahjong Nyao Kanai will take the largest loss, which means that going into the final day, it is Maze Bar with the significant advantage over 200 points lead. So in order for Team Bar Watch to come back, they will need a sequence of first places where
you
Maze
probably
Bar
have
is
to
getting
go
negative
1-1-1
results.
and get some help from Maze Bar. That is doable. For Mahjong Nyao Kanai, that's where you're thinking it's probably just not going to happen. And I always feel there's a big mental block when you go into that final day and you see a gap like this. It's how aggressively do I want to play? Are we just going to go out in a blaze of glory, or are we just going to play our game and see what happens?
Yeah, did become a bit of a Kawakami fan, though, at the way those last hands were played. Definitely giving her all for it for Team DD Studio. And there is something to be said about the individuals as well. As some of the teams find themselves moving away from the top of their division, not being able to make it to the team finals, there's still definitely something to play for in terms of the individual finals. And actually, I think I've got the results, the individual results, as they currently stand.
There you have it. And you see in the yellow as the 10 required games.
And in the green is the players who played that day. So Nashiro moving up to the 10 required games. She's definitely in very good position to finish in the top 7, which will confirm a spot into the quarterfinals for the remaining players 8 through 23, and then later on 24, 25, 26, and a few more players. You'll have to play your way in. The higher you are in the standings, the more games that you get to play to have a chance to qualify. You just need to finish the best, play for first in those qualification games. But not surprised to see some of the fan favorite names up here at the top. We see Uotani Hinata, a number of other popular players, well known at least to the Americas, up at the top of the division. And we've been learning, we've been pulling out some new names that we've become fans of over the course of this series. It's been quite a while since this cup started, since the tournament started, and it will be exciting now that we're getting to the final stretch.
Right, and you always have to go in thinking, okay, this is probably going to be my last chance. What are the goals? Do we just need to run through the team, or are we getting the position? And failing that, can I play for myself, at least try and sneak in to the playoff in the individuals? But it is a team event, so if you have a chance to get that team win, that's what you really want.
Even more so, we have standings at the bottom half, so players all the way down to 29th place will get at least one chance to qualify for the quarterfinals. And so all the way down to 109.3 is currently the mark to get in. And there's a name that you might see familiar. Lika currently in 35th place at 80.9 with 2 games required to hit the individual minimum. She plays for Team WRC and played a few of them recently. In the most, I believe the results for that series were shown in the last stream. But
yes, we saw those yesterday. It was basically a ±0 after this series for Lika, but you also have to realize that is Group 16, so I believe they're the last ones to play. So they actually have a couple games in hand compared to some of the other players on this list.
That's true. Just a reminder for the people who missed it, Team WRC was at first place, just barely over Team Kamekitazawa before the last series, and well, things changed drastically in division. Kamekitazawa picked up about 40 points. Mahjong Cafe Beyond picked up about 70 points, I think, if my memory serves correctly. And WRC stayed about where they were before, so now it's we're hunting down the top of the division, but it's still within 30 to 40 points. So really, that's one game essentially could make up that gap. It's only getting more exciting as time goes on.
The entire season for Group 16, no one's pulled ahead at all, and then when someone looks like they start to, they fall back to the group. It's the proverbial crabs in a bucket routine.
I feel like this is...
You're not getting out, even if I'm stuck down here.
Honestly, I feel like this has been the most competitive division. It's been so close all the way through.
But of course, we will watch them when we have a chance. But regardless, I think it's about time to wrap up the broadcast.
That's right. We had 3 casts this month in January, and things will be a little bit quiet for a while. I believe our next broadcast isn't until the end of February.
Yes, that's right. What happened is, if you get a whole bunch back to back, it's because something moved up. So you can see there from the calendar, the games that would have been played kind of mid-February, they didn't want to conflict with things like Valentine's Day, so I had some shifting around and got 3 games in 3 play dates in January, but you won't see us for another month there until February 27th.
Very good. So the February 27th will be one of our final broadcasts, and the playoffs are going to be taking place on March 14th, the day after the regular season ends. So after our final regular season broadcast on the 14th, you will want to definitely pay attention, as we will be coming up with the schedule for the playoffs, and that'll be very exciting to watch. If you are looking for something to do while you wait for our next Yukan Fuji Broadcast Cup, check out the videos that we've got posted, rewatch some of the broadcasts, prepare yourself for the upcoming Team WRC broadcast, which I believe will be the final day in March. That'll be certainly something to look forward to. And just want to make a quick thank you to everyone who subscribed to our channel. Huge shout out. Congratulations to the giveaway winners. And we look forward to finishing off the season strong in February. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and see you in late February.